Welcome in, one and all, to a very important day here today in LPL. We have Top Esports versus WE, and the winner goes to MSI. WE are on legitimately one of the most legendary LPL playoffs runs in history. Probably the only other ones which get close are, gosh, well, the problem is the only other one which I think of in recent history would be something like, well, Team WE back in 2021. Back when they had Elk, and they very nearly made it through to Worlds, but fell at the final hurdle. They made it through the entire bracket, then lost. I think it was 3 times back to back to fall out of that playoffs run. It was disaster for them. Can WE shake off that history? I know that none of these members were there for them, but the fan base will be thinking of that, and I'm sure the players here will have that somewhere in the back of their mind potentially as well. Hey, Bromo, great to see you as well. Okay, Sam and I are going to be getting ready in the background, and we'll join you, of course, for the games. I've got to get myself a coffee, got to go brush my teeth as well, and yeah, we'll get ready for this. This is going to be an insanely important matchup. I mean, can WE stick to their guns? Can they play the style which has got them so far? Or will this be where the dream ends? Or the start of it? You know, of course, they've got 2 chances, right? The win here, or lose and go through the lower bracket. That's the 2 ways they can make MSI. The same could happen, of course, to Top Esports. Top Esports on the other side of it, don't want to ignore them either. But of course, they are they're a staple in international competition for the LPL. Now, sometimes some would say for better or for worse. Of course, if they make it through today, they are going to have eyes on them internationally because they have gained themselves a reputation, sadly, for underperforming at the biggest events in the world. Okay, we're going to just be getting ready in the background for the next couple of minutes, and we'll join you shortly.
到赛前采访，我是主持人洛星。在这里，我们首先邀请到的是滔博的下路选手 Jackie Love， 你好，先跟大家打个招呼吧。
大家好，我是滔博 AD Jackie Love。
欢迎杰克啊！那在上一轮的比赛当中呢，你们是以大比分的成绩战胜了常规赛第2的京东战队，状态火热。而同样 WE 呢也是连续爆冷击败了强队，同样是势头正盛。那么面对这样一支没有任何心理包袱的黑马战队，你们在赛前是如何准备的呢？
就是 WE 前2个 BO， 我觉得他们一些打法和状态上，我觉得都挺好的嘛。然后这一段时间我们也是，会一直在就是训练我们，同时也去针对他们一些这个特定的英雄嘛。我觉得就是我们已经做好准备了。
OK， 那么这场和 WE 的对决，你觉得胜负的关键在哪里？为什么？
我觉得他们队伍很需要他们打野，主要是打野起节奏吧。我觉得我们需要把线上做好一点，然后让鱼多帮助野区，不让对面打野玩得很舒服。我觉得我们会赢下来。
好的，我们也期待你们在今天比赛当中的表现。同样在这里，我们也邀请到了西安 Team WE 的打野选手 Monkey， 你好，先跟大家打个招呼吧。
Hello， 大家好，我是西安 WE 的打野选手 Monkey。
好的，欢迎 Monkey 啊！其实呢 ，WE 在第2赛段也是上演了一段堪称奇迹的黑八逆袭，从常规赛垫底的位置一路过关斩将，连续爆冷，以下克上，掀翻了 BOG 和 AL 2支战队，挺进了今天的胜决。现在的你们距离 MSI 只差1场胜利，但是从骑士之路到现在，其实你们已经打了很多场高强度的 BO5了。想问问队伍的整体状态以及大家的体能储备如何呢？
我觉得我们现在的状态是越打越好的，然后体能的话，应该每个人都还可以。
那在经过连续2场的爆冷之后，我想问问大家的心态和常规赛时期又有什么不一样？
就现在应该都是挺正常的吧，就是很冷静啊，处理决策啊、打团啊各种方面，我觉得都还可以。
已经锻炼出了一个大心脏了。那包括不管是今天这个比赛，不管是观众也好，还是赛前刚刚采访到杰克也好，大家都认为比赛的关键的胜负可能要看两队打野之间的一个节奏博弈。那你怎么看待今天和小天的这个正面交手呢？
我觉得就只要小天抓不到我的队友，我应该能打爆他吧。
OK， 那我们就期待你们在今天比赛当中的精彩表现了。
Okay, well, we've had our interviews with our players. We should be getting ever closer towards the stage. Let me go turn the camera on as well, make sure that we can get ourselves closer towards well, we can get ready for the first games of the day. So, in terms of... Oh, by the way, on Onivia, I'm aware that the thumbnail is wrong. Working on a fix for that. Basically, whenever stuff's wrong with the stream, I've got to reach out to... Onivia themselves and see if they can fix it. Anyway, I've changed the title. I'm aware the thumbnail is wrong. It is, of course, W versus Top Esports today, so apologies for the confusion there. What the heck? How are you? Remember me? You're gonna have to remind me on that one, but I'm happy to see you anyway. Nika. Oh no, sorry, I do remember you. Sorry, yeah, I do remember you. You were asking for a shout out before. I seem to remember you talking to YouTube chat before. But yeah, who WE needs to win? Now the thing is, I was asked about this a lot over the last few days, and who do I think is going to win, and also who do I want to win as well? Because they are two different questions. They're two very different questions, in fact. And what I have come to, my conclusion that I have come to is that I think my heart wants WE. My heart wants WE. I think that WE, if they do make it to an international event, it'll be their first time to an international event since what, 2020? It's been a long time, a very long time.
观看2026英雄联盟职业联赛第2赛段，您可以通过英雄联盟
I've muted my mic. I've muted my mic. That's what happened there. Hello, how's it going? I was just talking to people in chat, and I actually wasn't. So yeah, if you're in Onivia's chat, I'm aware that the thumbnail is wrong. My voice just getting a little bit switched around on the first game of the day. All good. I was actually talking a little bit before that, but which is why when the camera was off. But yes, top esports versus WE. Can WE make it after, you know, the failure of their dream run in 2021? You know, can they make it since that time? They'll have 2 tries. You know, they've got this best of 5, then one other if they lose this one today. And I was asked basically, who do I want to win and who do I think will win? Because they are 2 different questions with 2 different answers. I think in my heart, I want WE. I want WE to win. If they were to capitalize on this run, finally complete it, it would be something truly legendary. This would be, you know, a little bit of, again, this wouldn't just be LPL history at that point. This would be League of Legends history that you're all here for. And yes, I do remember you, by the way, Nico, as well. Hope you're doing well there over in YouTube chats. I'm also aware that the thumbnail is wrong within Onivia. We're getting that sorted as well. But yeah, WE, they are on the precipice again. They are on the precipice. They haven't made an international event since for a very, very long time. They have not been international for years and years, and now they have 2 chances back to back. They have to get through top esports for this, though. Can they make it through them? Team WE has not made it to an international event since 2017 Worlds, where they finished in the semi-finals against Samsung Galaxy, who went on to win the entire event. WE are on the precipice. They got oh so close in 2021 with Breathe, Beishang, Shanks, Elk, and Missing. They finished 3rd in playoffs and then bombed out in the same position that they were here. WE, they hail from Xi'an. They're playing in Shenzhen for this playoffs. I can feel the tension. I can feel it off of these, off of the situation. If WE were to make it, it would be a legendary bit of LPL history, but they must go through one of the staples, one of the pillars of the LPL themselves. Jackie Love, Tien, and the rest of top esports. Now, top esports, a team with their own demons, but a team which regionally are so hard to get past. Now, of course, so much of the narrative, so much of the feeling behind this series will be centered around WE due to the novelty of the situation, due to the run that they have been on. But you cannot overlook top esports, a team that, of course, had many changes coming through from last split to this one. Jachi leaving the roster. Nio, of course, leaving the roster. 369 stepping back for Swayan. Oh my god, Fungiway is so tall. He's so tall. He's so tall. Oh my god. Pretty sure that Fungiway is like a centimeter tall, is shorter than me as well. So that's like if I was stood on stage, that's how tall I would be. Oh god. Sometimes things put it into perspective, don't they? Top esports. Oh gosh, didn't mean to get distracted there. Top esports with a chance to make it back internationally themselves as well. Now, I think in my heart, a WE win would mean so much to the LPL. It would mean quite a lot for me as well, I think, as well. You know, WE are a team which have got a huge fan base and one which have been very loyal to the team. WE fans, people like you over on Twitter, has been a WE fan, or as for a long time, as many other people. Of course, there are people who support multiple teams, right? And I know that you also have supported JDG for points as well. But WE are a team which has commanded a huge fan base for years and years and years. This is a team which used to be known as Team World Elite back in 2012, and then obviously over the years, they then ended up rebranding over to Team WE. And they haven't been a major player within the LPL for a long time now. Last year, they had that incredible spring run where they finished top 4. They were 2 spots away from MSI with the Vampire roster. And now Vampire has left WE, went to JDG, and has now, of course, after the success in Split 1, he has been outplaced by his old team that he left. WE have been more successful now in this split than Vampire, the player that left them. Of course, depending on the lower bracket run, there is a chance that WE end up outplacing every player that has ever played for WE. Now, it depends on who goes through from, how things work in the lower bracket. Both BLG and Anyone's Legend have former WE players. You have, of course, you have Anyone's Legend with, of course, Shanks, who used to play with them for a long time. BLG, of course, used to have Elk. Gosh, sorry, it would have been Elk, actually. I believe that BLG no longer have any former W players, actually. So there's a bit of complication there. But if AL lose in the lower bracket to BLG, then actually W will have outplaced every player that has had a history with their organization. How crazy is that? BLG, of course, waiting in that lower bracket. And guys, we're getting straight into the game. We're getting straight into the draft, as Sam's going to be rolling himself in here as well. Pleasure to have you here as always, Sam. Let's get into the draft. We've been through the narratives in terms of the overall teams, haven't really talked about the individual players that much. For me, Sam, I'm really looking on overall strategy from the level 1 and the jungle pool. Can WE keep up this momentum around Monkey? Can they keep themselves strategically ahead of the rest of the LPL when it comes to level 1s and invades?
Completely agree with that. That will be what we're tracking right now. Thank you for the very insightful thoughts there on terms of where we're at with both these teams. Theoretically, it's Top Esports' favourite. They're the team that have been at the top for the longest with the best run of form. WE still very much the underdogs, but you can feel the momentum, the magic, and also, bluntly, the lack of knowledge about what makes this team tick. We'll see with the Top Esports had a little bit of time to figure out what's making WE so dangerous right now, and for me, a lot of it is coming through that captain of theirs, Monkey in the jungle, and how willing the team is to drop off vision, drop off resets, and make plays happen.
I think the other part of this, though, is that Urha has been exceptional for WE as well. He has got himself a first pick Karma, but now we're starting to see some huge picks get let through. Varus was available, it is locked in, it can be flexed into top lane, but Varus Karma as a bot lane is disgustingly strong as well. There's no Bard for Feng Yue, you can't lock in the Karma because that's been taken away, so what does Ezreal go towards in terms of a bot lane pairing? Might even see something like a Seraphine actually, just for laning pressure.
Feng Yue does love it.
Feng Yue loves that pick, but Suyan also has himself the Rumble. Suyan has been a player which, of course, this player has an incredibly complex story. A lot of people boil it down to he's a rookie, he's good this year. That's not true. He was playing in 2024, he had a disaster debut. He played for Invictus Gaming in summer of 24 on the same roster as Vampire, actually, who was there at that time, and he was awful. He was very bad. He has had to climb his way to this spot again, so when you hear people calling him a rookie, know that they are not hearing the entire story here. He has gone in this split from being the counter pick king, beating Bin, going back into kind of like discovering himself in the mid split where he didn't find that form again, but in playoffs it's come back again. Nautilus round now ends out the first round of our picks. We have very strong power picks being let through on either side, Sam.
I'm imagining now as well for the likes of Karis as a very real world. We see things like the Cassiopeia and the Anivia ban, probably to protect this rise. Worth noting as well, though we haven't seen it so much, Rumble's been flexed around a little bit. Griffin over in the LCS played it in the jungle. We've seen Chovy play it into the mid, specifically into TF, though it is worth noting. But it does mean that the Rumble, for all it's been a first pick, saw it just the other day, right, with BLG and that flex of the Skarner of all champions into support, that there can absolutely be one or two little extra twists and turns with the picks we've seen on our screens already, not to mention, of course, the fact that Varus, as we noted, and you noted specifically, could go top lane. Sion getting banned away from Cube, who has always been a tank specialist, alongside the Ornn. On the side, they're looking to get rid of things like the Yone from Cream.
Yeah, and something which you was talking about on Twitter is saying actually one of the big things that she was thinking about this matchup is how quickly can Top Esports chew through the champion pool of Cube. Now, Cube is, of course, a huge tank player. He has the Cassante left, as we've been noting, but the double tanks away from that matchup into the Rumble do help, and I just don't see him as a Varus player, Sam. So while we said, oh, the Varus can go top lane, it's not really likely here, and Top Esports have put their money down on that too. Vi taken away from Tien. Now, Tien is, of course, a huge player in this game too. We've been talking a lot about WE. Tien coming back into Top Esports after taking a split away is a crucial part of this roster and their success as well. We've got ourselves a bit of a clean feed stutter here. In fact, I'm just going to go switch over to the other server on this too, so don't be surprised with this one. The Cassiopeia will get locked in for Top Esports. Good into that into the Rise. Cream has had an excellent split individually and has a great matchup now.
Yeah, of course, it is worth noting again, I think the Cassiopeia is 0-9 right now in playoffs, not including play-ins. They've kept that separate, but the LPL official broadcast did a fantastic graphic basically showing off the various champions have been a bit underwhelming. Some of the traps, the Ambessa has been one of them, the Cassiopeia is another. Whether this time around it gets a bit more interesting. The Galio gets locked in alongside the Trundle for Monkey. Monkey's been pulling this at any given opportunity before it came back, and that probably puts the Galio top into the run.
It'll be the Galio top lane, but Tien has the pick of the litter now. I mean, the Trundle is a strong level 1 jungler, but guys, Tien was the Qiyana jungle for much of Qiyana jungle's point of power. Remember, when you think about 2018, 2019, Tien was right there for so much of it, and the other pick, which he was so good at, was the Lee Sin. They lock it in. We get Tien's Lee Sin.
Okay.
Game 1 of a series which will send the winner to MSI. Ladies, gentlemen, everyone else, this is such a treat. Cube has opened up his champion pool a little bit, locking up that Galio into the top side. But Tien Lee Sin, that is a pick you must keep your eyes on.
I need to see him pull his finger out a little bit on this one though, because the last couple times he went 0-2 in the early levels, and he managed to come back on one of them, if memory serves, but the other wasn't all that pretty. So we just need to see him be ready to play here, especially into that Trundle. The early levels are going to be important, and you're looking at the squad here from Top Esports. You want to be spiking at that 2 item, that 1 item, very
We're going to go into an ad break, folks. We don't get the ads during the game. If you want to support us, please think about just watching this adverts. If you've got a Prime subscription, helps us too. We've got a Ko-fi link. We have Opera GX as a sponsor. That's the happy PCs beneath our logo, our camera as well.
Right now.
All of these things matter an awful lot to us. It's a very important series. I hope you can support us along the way as well. Enough of that, though. We've shielded for ourselves. We'll keep doing that through the day, but we really want to lock into the game here. Winner to MSI. The stakes don't get higher than this, folks. The stakes do not get higher. I'm so excited for this match. Sam, let's get into it. It's the Coach's Fist Bump.
Those poor crowd microphones, they are not used to that kind of level of furore. Couple level 1 moments there from them when looking for the level 1 hook. Couldn't quite find it. Good sidesteps from WE. There's the heal to try and get the staggering blows. Nicely done. now body blocking. He's going to try and come back on. He's taking quite a lot of damage. Will heal in turn. The damage is only onto the supports right now. Now Jackie's taking a bit more damage, and that's a bit more problematic. Flash for another staggering blow. Foggy is full sending of the level 1. About has to flash. Now, of course, they get another one to Jackie gets the kill. The turnaround play, though, makes it the 1-for-1.
Yeah, the tower shot comes through, and Jackie Love goes down. That was such a knife fight. That is a classic LPL 2v2, where everyone is aware of those little bits of HP. You're trying to look for the next skill shot. Really enjoyed how Feng Yue was playing around his passive there. But the problem is now, of course, Jackie Love ends up dying there too. Does have the teleport to get back to lane, as does About. Both of them get the kill. Both of them come back with a TSM at level 1.
That is going to be very, very important. But Jackie and Feng Yue here to play. And hey, what should have been great early power from the Karma and the Varus. Disgusting lane. Fongyue has a really good showing there at the level 1. What insane Nautical. Yes, Jackie obviously gets the kill, but for me, the person who set that all up was Fongyue, who just managed to get into melee range 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, the first hook went wide, and Erher got the better of him in that skill shot battle, but then, yeah, Fongyue, real credit to him. Fearless. Now, Fongyue is a newer player to the LPL scene as well as Monkey's going for a gank in mid. Cream may have his flash blown here.
Yeah, may well do. There's a red buff to work with. He's still getting slowed here. This could get a bit nice. There's a rune prison, and he doesn't have the flash anymore. This gets a bit spicier. Tien's coming on over, but I don't think that will change anything. And now Tien's in a 1v2. He's pulled off of his blue buff. Fongyue's on a rope. When's the next pillar? Gonna look for the hook, but they only get it onto, weirdly, the Rise. Monkey's gonna be able to walk away, looking for the Q onto Karis. That makes it a bit spicy. When's the next pillar? There it is. There's a ward hop forward. Rune prison. Red buff slow will get the kill back.
Fongyue makes the difference again, though. I mean, Tien's Lee Sin is now on the board with the first kill onto the Rise, but the hero of this early game has been all Fongyue. We talked about Suyan and his journey. We've talked about Tien. Let's talk about Fongyue because he's a newer player into the LPL. He's a player which, when he was on, top esports earlier in the year, I heard some people, other analysts in the scene, just saying, oh, well, he was okay, but he was too flippy. I've had a real soft spot for this guy, though. I could see that he is a very ambitious player. And even during top esports slump in this split, I thought that he was their best player. I think this guy has been very good at points, and he's been such an important player who's been very fearless with the way he's approached the game.
Worth noting, though, off the back of that as well, one of the prizes Fongyue won for his team was double scuttle for Tien. He dropped his blue buff and has gone top scuttle to bot scuttle, and as a result, Monkey will not be able to get one of those key early buffs. Of course, Monkey did get an early kill, there's all that good stuff there, but that's actually really huge for Tien, who otherwise could have been taken out of that game.
Tien, really important for him. Realistically, the big winner there, of course, is Cream as well, because it means that Karis doesn't get just a kind of instant reset and instant gold for himself too. So Cream is still in the game too. Gold is
away as well.
Yeah, even-ish early game so far, but Tien getting on the board over a Trundle. He doesn't really have a great tank to steal stats from. This is looking bad for Monkey. Monkey is the hero of WE. We talked a lot about other players too. Okay, let's keep rolling down some of the other players we haven't talked about. Monkey, so important. The most important player to Team WE's playoffs run. The guy who has been leading the charge in the early game. We did say, look, this game is going to come down to early game and that jungle invade meta. Tien getting that camp advantage, getting the first kill as well. That is very bad news for WE.
Big chunk there on Suyan, who was caught in the middle of his reset. Just about half his HP bar there to Cube. He managed to get a full channel taunt into the Justice Punch Ground Slam combo. The Winds of War obviously looks very stylish in this particular skin, it must be said. There's another play. Fongyue misses the hook as about sidesteps with the help of a heal. There's a tether back onto Jackie Love, and about now trading onto the Nautilus.
I've been loving watching this 2v2. This 2v2 is so fun. Look, when you have players like Jackie Love in a lane, you kind of want to watch it anyway. But players like Erher and Fongyue are not players who many people across the world will have been that familiar with. And also, if you're tuning in for LPL playoffs for the first time, welcome. It's been a barn burner as Monkey's looking to go join the party down here in bot lane as well.
That he is. Doesn't have that many camps to go to, where Tien has to be topside right now. He's on the reset, looking to come over here, but he will not be here quite in time. To good hook away, though, from Fongyue. Jackie left at about 10%, but will not fall.
Gives bot lane pressure. Does that lead to an early dragon start? Maybe. Jackie Love would have to reset, come back out onto the map. Lee Sin is on Krug's powerful. He's got good components there, but with Rise roaming down, that will be first dragon to WE. Good objective secured off of the bot lane. Furor.
So I've always said Furor, but apparently it's actually Furore.
Hop over the wall.
Smite
He gets the smite steal.
Nice. He lands a Sonic Wave as well. They can potentially jump onto Monkey. Karis will get down the Rune Prison and run away from the Miasma. Well done from Tien there to continue the early pressure. He's up about 20 CS. He'll get another Scuttle Crab. He'll continue his reign of terror as they can roam into this jungle and potentially steal away more camps.
Dude, Tien might be silencing WE's jungle in their early game, Sam. The most important weapons for WE, Monkey's playmaking in the early game reads. looks so less powerful against TN. Now, this guy against JDG was actually behind in a serious amount of those games. He was killed early. Monkey's trying to look for something bot lane. As Lee Sin is clicking a red buff, Monkey's killing his AD carry.
Yeah, Monkey knows he can't go topside, so has to get something elsewhere. Gets the kill. That's important because Monkey was falling behind. He's now 2-0. Can probably go and steal the enemy red buff here, actually, though Cassiopeia was threatening a roam. They're going to go look for this, invade and some counterplay on the other side, which I think is important still because you can't afford to drop too much CS here.
Nautilus is roaming down. Monkey's low HP and Ezreal's teleporting to the bot turret. They can't do this. They can't do this. The Ezreal would actually end up killing him alone on that kind of HP, so he's not going to be able to get that camp away, which means that kill onto Jaculov is equal, arguably more, not even more, it's more than equalized. It's an advantage for Tien because he gets Raptors and he gets red buff after getting the dragon as well. Monkey is down an incredible amount of XP. So the clean feed just stuttering a little bit. Lots of people watching this series. So the clean feed's a little bit cluttered here on the internet side.
Yeah, worth noting as well, of course, that the Scuttle Crab on top of everything else also into TN. So we've gotten every Scuttle Crab this game and 2 Raptor carries, which is massive. You can see it in the CS discrepancies there. Not the Monkey, I think, has been playing that poorly, right? It's just that that one death in mid lane has given TN all the info he needs to be at the right space to go, I can now take this Raptor camp on spawn.
Yeah, and again, so much of that has to come actually from Feng Yue. I know that Tien is going to be the guy that gets a lot of the praise with the Smite steal. However, this early game would not be possible without the equalizing effect in bot lane of the Nautilus against, as you were saying, an incredibly lane dominant duo of the Varus and the Karma. Feng Yue has been the crucial reason he can get out of that lane, get onto the map as well. Let's talk about the other lanes very quickly, as Monkey is just heading towards top lane there. So there was a Realm Warp just in the background. Cube is within touching distance of the Rumble, and that's fine. It means that the Galio Ultimate will be very happy to use at this point. Helper coming in from the Nautilus Spellbook.
That it is. He's trying to jump onto Tien, who gets subjugated. Flash away from Tien. The taunt on 2. That's nasty. Monkey flashes away. The hero's entrance, and that's not a great TP. WE ready to play with that one. And flash off 2 carries from the side of top people. Can keep looking for more. Tien, remember, no flash. Cream, no flash. The Flame Spitter's out. Where is the Ezreal? Finally joined. Now looking to trade back. There's a tether, as Jackie needs to make sure he doesn't get too done in, as the Arcane Shift helps him stay safe as that tether procs.
Yeah, great damage from the Ezreal means that top Esports aren't actually going to lose that much from it. Sam, of all the support spellbook teleports I've seen, that is the most obvious support spellbook teleport. That's the person who goes, I have the summoner to use, but not the experience to use it. That was not the best summoner usage of all time. It was just a tribute.
Gotta believe me, just a matter of opinion.
No. Okay, if you're gonna sing that song, you gotta use at least one of the more well-known lines from it, Sam. You know, there was like me and my brother Jackie here. We was walking down a long and lonely lane.
Okay, yeah, was fair.
And there's the shiny ward in the middle of the lane. Anyway,
and he said,
look, tenacious though he was, Feng Yue did in fact press the D key.
You
rather
inoptimally yes! I was about to say, was it the teleport D key?
It was the tenacious D key did not work in his favor.
Oh, that's exceptional.
And we've already got, you know, we've got Jaculov Black. I don't know, not quite Jack Black in the bot lane.
Oh dear, does that make Feng Yue Kyle Gas, I guess?
It's by process of elimination, Sam. Yes. That,
okay, yeah,
by the bit we're going on, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, so let's bring things back to, again, less of a tribute, more of reality. Apparently, Sam, we do. I know it's part of the job description. Ezreal Ultimate just raking across the bot lane there, stopping the recall of Urha, but not about. Okay, even in gold, top esports have Dragon. Monkey gets the kill from that last fight, so he's even in terms of gold, but he is down 1.5 levels in terms of XP. That doesn't show on the scoreboard, or at least on the gold part of it. Of course, it shows on the scoreboard. That's where I'm reading it from. So Monkey is really not happy still. He's going to be losing a lot of base stats in comparison to the Lee Sin, and as we said, doesn't have the best targets to ult in terms of resist stealaways. So WE still have a lot of work to do to catch up, in my opinion, to top esports, because their jungle is such an important part of their composition and is not happy in terms of the experience right now.
No, he's not. At least the gold's there. At least he's not completely fallen out. It's got to the Trinity Force. Being down 2 levels, though, really sucks. That is a massive deal in the jungle. And generally speaking, we've seen that experience beats gold in the jungle more often than not.
Yes.
Because, again, you can only get so far ahead in gold.
Yeah, that is true. However, now, outside of the jungle matchup, look, Trundle with a Triforce is demonic. This champion is just just something else with this item. If he gets onto a tower, onto a champion isolator, Trundle kills them.
Yeah.
We saw, Kanavi last year get a pentakill on this. That's a flash away from Fengyue. Gets the route through. Dragon's alive and a teleport's flying from Rumble.
There we go. Gonna try and jump onto Jack. He got caught by the chains of corruption, trying to come on over. Needs to potentially be fed of the flash. Both AD carries flash, but Jackie reads it well.
Jaculov doesn't have teleport for the handful of seconds as well. Top Esports in the 4v5. No flash on fire.
They don't know that Karis is here. The taunt. They get on top of the Rumble. TN trading with the Dragon Head, trying to get the kick away. He gets another smite fight. Hero's entrance on top of Fengyue. He does just about get out of range, but there's a pillar in the way. So Top Esports will lose their support. Realm Warp to hunt for more.
They're going to go to hunt down the Rumble, but they won't quite get the angle right. Great reaction by Suyan to realize he was getting cut off at the pass. WE should have felt they should have got a lot more from that, Sam. They don't get Jaculov, they don't get the Dragon. Top Esports only lose Fengyue. That is a very acceptable boundary of loss there from Top Esports. They're happy with the objective. It's a Hextech Rift coming up, so they'll have themselves a very powerful soul opportunity if they continue to stack Dragons. I love how Top Esports are approaching this game, Sam. Clearly, WE are still firing on all cylinders in terms of their early game and their ability to group up quickly into the game, and they're going on to Suyan.
They do get the equalizer down. That should keep him alive. Fengyue also being here makes it a bit of a mess now. They go mid lane as TN is coming out of the enemy jungle, lands the Sonic Wave. There's a Rune Prison, but it will not time out. That ability to press the Q again, and a resonating strike takes the head off of Karis.
In Top Esports, as we've been saying, they've really come to play here, Sam. WE gonna lose a Gromp here, maybe two. TN is relentless.
Okay, this is still a 2v3. I don't know about this. They get away with it because they don't quite get enough damage on the Subjugate. Should be able to get out with another W and Suyan being here. So TN is now 3-0, steals away more camps. He's double the CS in the jungle.
He is so far ahead. 50 CS up, Sam. You'd need another 20 to be double. Come on, let's make sure that we're mathematically correct. It's close enough to it, though, isn't it? Like, 50 CS up, that's insane. 1,000 gold, 2 levels up on Monkey, clean 2 levels too. This isn't just like on the boundary points of the levels, right? This is just incredible stuff from TN. Him and Fengyue ran the early game, and TN started to take off now into the mid game as well. Look, I don't even think WE are playing badly per se. I think that Top Esports are respecting them, and I think they're fighting fire with fire. Sienna said, I will play the early game if you want to play the early game, Monkey. And Top Esports as a group have started to really stand up and make sure that W aren't getting away with what they were against teams like BLG earlier in the bracket.
I honestly thought Tarzan was going to do this to Monkey, and that didn't occur. I think Tien has come in with a really solid game plan because, again, the way to deal with WE has been to take Monkey out of the equation. BLG failed to do so. Honestly, they're not the best team at playing through Shun. They're the best team at getting Shun to play through them a lot of the time. And yes, obviously, Shun, we just will have an incredible Nidalee game. It's not like he can't be a carry, but it's the way that it is done. It's not usually through shutting down the enemy jungle per se, and that kind of lack of respect and that lack of playstyle preference in terms of how Knight often likes to play into carry jungles. I know Kira's had a whole tweet chain about it out there, shout out to him. Is certainly something to keep an eye on.
Just want to shout out someone in the YouTube chat as well, AC, calling out that Tien is actually currently on 10 CS a minute in jungle.
That's mad.
He is almost highest CS in the game from jungle, and that's why he's doing a lot of damage flying forwards.
Subjugate.
It's under skies. Subjugate goes down. Here comes Fengyue.
True Shot Barrage, the depth charge. Fengyue is actually probably going to die for this. This is really deep. The shield comes out from the locket, but he's just dead. Realm Warp to hump for a little bit more. Cream's now here. There's a Sonic Wave. Lands onto Karis. Cream flashes as Karis went looking for a Rune Prison, but he gets out of jail free.
Okay, Fengyue, I loved his first few minutes of the game, but he started to make a couple of chain ints now, Sam. There was the teleport into top lane. This kind of play now is 0 and 3. The death around the last dragon, that was fine, but this one was not really what the team needed. Tien wanted to hop in and out. Fengyue committed too hard. Jacula caught by the pillar. He's going to get caught by the taunt. Yes, he is.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. The damage back means that he dies. It's in the mid lane. Of course it is. Jackie, there's one a game. Cream's TP'd in, and there's still 4 members of WE. Fengyue's here to try and buy some time for his mid laner. That one's a bit more understandable. So TP's got flying, and Tien is there. Of course he is. Looks to ward hop forwards, lands the Sonic Wave. Fengyue with another hook. He's got very deep, does not quite die. He gets a shield off with the Tides Run, but look at Tien over the wall. Trying to find another angle in, can't quite do it. Karis throws down an overload or two. Zian tanking up the turret. Monkey backs away. And just about WE keep 2 members alive. The extended play goes wild.
Tien just kicked the Varus into death. He killed both the bot laners. If Tien doesn't assassinate the bot lane there, I'm pretty sure WE walk away with a 1 fight. A game save, or at least a team fight life-saving play from TN as W are really looking to claw their way back into this game. They're just not able to get through the bulwark of TN's Lee Sin. How insane has this guy been on his most iconic champion? We'll watch this again because the initial play is good onto Jackal. If he walks too far forwards, I think he's just looking for poke, good damage. Gets his E forced away very quickly. It's not a great push from him in mid lane as he dies very quickly. Teleport comes through. Luckily for Cream, there's not that many cooldowns left to punish him. Watch Tien here though. Ward hops in, kicks the Varus, gets into melee range of the Karma, fights over. Incredible play from Tien, just instantly assassinates the Varus who didn't really know where to stand. Problem with a champion like Varus is when plays evolve very quickly, you don't have the mobility to rearrange yourself in the backline very quickly.
Now, Top Esports, because of how long that play took, didn't really get the opportunity to set up around the Dragons. They go, cool, we know what W are going to want to do. We'll take the Herald instead. So they don't get Soul Point, but they do get Herald. They can use that to break down mid lane turret, unless it's a very good pillar here from Monkey. Just keep your eyes on whether Trundle is tracking where that potential Herald drop is. Instead, they put it top side and look to get more plates off this top side and get Zuian into a good spot in this game. I think Cubes actually had a pretty solid Galio game, but now, of course, Zuian getting all this turret plate gold, getting involved in that fight, it's just suddenly going to accelerate and we've got to run away with the Herald.
It's the getaway driver, Sam. Had that once or twice here in the LPL. One of my favorite memories, of course, Hacker way back on Ultra Prime. A year or two ago now. Steals it away. Tien, he has been so ruthless. And I think, look, the best way that Top Esports could have approached this game is what they're doing right now, Sam, which is just saying, okay, you don't get to get off the ground. We're trying to cut your momentum down. Miracle Run, okay, is sweet, cool. That doesn't apply to today. You're going to get smashed in.
Yeah, especially because Monkey smote and Tien didn't. It was his pet that got the kill.
Oh, that's just such a... That's such a kick in the nether region, Sam. Look, WE have been trying very, very hard to look for that comeback play. Now, the way to describe WE as a team is a team that plays for quick and early groups. They don't play for isolated sidelines. Look at the side lane right now, right? They're grouping up everyone on the top side of the map. They continually group and look for plays. They try to do that as early in the game as possible, but Top Esports have done that if not as even better than them so far, because Tien has just been reaping the rewards of these early skirmishes, and WE, they can group all they want. They're just going to lose to the Lee Sin if he gets a kick on the right target.
To at least get the turret there, and that's important. And again, there will probably come a point where, of course, the Lee Sin theoretically falls off a little bit, but right now, being so far ahead, having those two items, he is a legitimate threat onto anyone he gets on top of, whoever they are. Cube, of course, has gone for a magic resist build. Let's have a look at that one. Yeah, I think it is just the jungle pet.
Yeah, they had to highlight that one again. Right, so 2 dragons to Top Esports, 1 to WE, so it's not going to be the early soul for Top Esports. W did get the third one a couple of minutes ago. Scuttle prep for Lee Sin there. He's 2,000 gold ahead. Now, normally, yeah, that's very true as well. Now, this one, it's a little bit of like a fake 3 levels. It's a solid 2, but then occasionally you'll get the 3 around the level boundaries. As Monkey does get the level up there, right? As just kind of proving the point. But the fact that he's managed to consistently do that is absurd. I mean, that it's so hard to keep that kind of XP. Fungi is walking down. They spot Cream.
This could get a bit spicy for Monkey. He needs to really dodge away from the Ghost on the Nautilus with the spell book. Here comes the rest of the team. I don't know whether they want to follow this in. A little bit of a stutter on the claim through. Here comes the Heroes Enter. They're going to try and get another Monkey, and they just blow up Fongyue, who decides to go make that play happen, but it's into the dark, and therefore he dies. They do get the Galliwell as everyone's TP'd in. The Equalizer follows. Cube may need to flash over the wall and does so.
Okay, that Lee Sin Q goes wide. And Clean Feet just having a bit of a trouble here. Cream needs to be careful with his ranges a little bit. Wants to keep everyone in the same direction. Look for that huge ult.
Yeah, 'cause the other part of this, of course, is about quite a strong point of power, and they are somewhat outranged with the notable exception of the Ezreal. So if about lands enough poke onto someone like that Cassiopeia, when I suspect things like Serpent's Fangs will be a consideration at some point, could get a bit nasty. Again, fortunately, we've got a little bit of time before the next big play happens, so we'll get through this little stutter and hopefully be right back with you. There is someone off to the side here. Fongyue's back on the map. Good to find a hook, but it's onto Cube. Tien looking, lands the Sonic Wave, but it's in the middle of everyone. Be a very dicey reactivation. Jackie down to half.
Sadly, another Galio Q lands. Can't really fly in as the Lee Sin into the Galio. If he just pops W taunts you, you die. Hook goes wide there. Q onto Karis.
Oh, gets the kick. They do manage to find something there. The pillar onto Tien. Cream flashes the petrifying gaze. It's not for the stuns, it's just for the damage. And the Rumble overheats and barbecues WE. They'll sell him for $9.99.
Karis makes the crucial error. He blinks first, Sam. He removes himself from the Death Ball, and Cube can't protect protect him. Karis gets the Lee Sin Q on, and Tien realizes, oh, you have broken ranks. It leads to a huge team fight win. It leads to the Baron. Top Esports will explode into the lead now if they hadn't before. Watch this again, because the Lee Sin Q lands onto Karis just as the second cast comes through here. I think it's the second time of asking for it. If he is closer to the Galio, he can taunt and protect him. He moves too far away. Cube can't do anything, and the damage is done. Cream teleports in. Flash ultimate. Swayan flashes as well. But Tien spots the misposition from Karis and punishes so quickly.
And it all goes wrong so very quickly after that. WE in an exceptional point of power.
Now, WE, I think this game might be well too gone now, Sam. I think that Monkey has not had the agency he's needed in this game, despite the fact that I think Fungue's made some pretty big errors going into the mid-game and later. I think that Top Esports have approached this game through the jungle role so exceptionally well. 6,000 gold lead for Top Esports, still have 2 minutes of the Baron buff to go. WE batten down the hatches. I just don't know if they have the damage to make picks happen now, Sam. I think they're just going to get blasted by the first person who really turns and burns on them.
And again, it's not like Monkey's played poorly, right? He's 3-1 and 4. He's been involved in all but one of the kills. That's how important he's been. You know, it's not like we've seen bad individual play, but it's things like that skirmish in mid lane where he had to go to finish up his camp spot side, and Tien goes, well, I can double scuttle into respawn on Raptors. Okay, another place happened over. I get another scuttle grab. I can go get Raptors again. That kind of ability to take that one early advantage with Monkey getting chunked out in the mid lane and turning that into massive individual agency is huge. Equalizer gets dropped on the wave, the tier 2 falls, and Top Esports continue to extend their lead.
Yeah, Bao gets the Karma Shield. Spell should blow now. Kvaris actually gets tagged. Sorry, the Ezreal gets tagged with a slow there. And Shakalov has been caught out a few times this game. Should be noted that we might be able to find a lucky pickoff onto him again. Gold lead hasn't really moved since we last talked about it a minute ago. Top Esports just controlling the map. They'll look for some camp steals away when they come back up. If they can break the base, that's huge for them. WE, if they can defend those turrets, perhaps they can fight around the next dragon. 4 minutes, the Soul Dragon will come up for Top Esports. That'll be the death of it. Here comes the Realm Warp, help one of the Galio into the backline.
Hail Mary, Cream's been trapped off. I think he was caught on a reset, and they blow up the Cassiopeia.
Okay, so that's one down, but the damage is still there from other members.
Karis gets sent into the enemy team. He tried to take Jackie with him, will not. That's 2 members down.
Jacula was putting the damage into the Galio as Tien delivers another kill into the backline. WE, they had 1 last minute to try and see out the Baron. They get the Cassiopeia, but they can't keep Top Esports away from the gates.
Rian just get chunked pretty low, gets safeguard. He's going to die for this, I think. That's too far. There's a TP behind. Cube didn't die, and now he gets to go on the flanking angle. They get on the backline. Jackie flushed, but still taunted. Tien is still a monster, though. Oh, my God. They've killed off Jackie. Era's going to go low. Can Tien just 1v3 him? He's certainly going to try. Fungue goes down. They will surely kill Tien. They've gone too far, and Top Esports bottom out.
WE, I thought that was it, Seb. I thought it was the game, but Tien is finally killed. He gets himself a Guardian Angel on the recall, but I love that for that fight. WE hold on. The gold lead was around 6,000. It ends up being about 3,000 now after the deaths, the shutdowns, importantly, going over to WE. Where did they mainly go over to? Well, Sam About is a very wealthy man now. Initially, Realm Warp, and it's actually Jacula who's spotted on the recall first. Cube is interrupted on his play, but then does get the ult back out to safety. They kill the Cassiopeia. This is where I thought, okay, the game's kind of over. Cube is, retreating from the plague. Harris is dead. So you've lost a lot of your damage there in the Rise. What goes wrong after this? Because they've used the Realm Warp, but they haven't used the Galio teleport, and Swayan makes a huge error. He puts the DOT down, and he gets rooted on the turret with tower aggro. They use the Mikhails, but a little too late. I don't think they realize he's going to die so quickly. Cube hasn't used that teleport yet, flies into the backline, gets Jacula, and they get themselves a lot of damage off the board through some individual mistakes, misjudgments from Top Esports.
Yeah, and then a knock-up onto Tien, preventing him from keeping those autos down with the Iron Will rolling. There was a very real world there where Sundered Sky procs and the Iron Will healing could have let that Lee Sin do some magic. It's not allowed. He dies the first time. About is now incredibly fed. Top Esports, though, are still up 2,500 gold. They are still at the soul point, but those kills help even up a world of sins.
Well, Jackie? I mean, it's 2.5k, but then they get themselves an objective bounty. Monkey does have flash, might be forced to use it.
So I've managed to dodge away pretty well there, actually, so he's going to be all right. Doesn't need to burn it.
Okay, WE. It's not a great equalizer either there from Swayan. We'll have to keep track of them. not been loving his equalizers this game, although many of them have been neutralized by Karma shields. Actually, Karma used to be the anti-Rumble champion for a while, because he was given AoE shield, and everyone feels bad about it. Cream gets ulted.
Oh, he's pillared out. I think he's in danger, has to flash away.
Okay, so the Realm Warp was used. Ult down from Monkey, minute and a half till Dragon. That ultimate will be back up and available just about in time. Cream's flash will not.
On the ward here, I think, underneath it all. They're going to get interrupted. I don't think so. It would have been
Sorry,
a
who's
bit
on a
bold.
ward?
I believe when they were recalling, they were on a ward.
They have a control ward in the bush.
Oh,
so,
yes, of course.
So
it
in that case, it actually doesn't matter. But yes, I mean, yeah, there was a ward in that brush, but there's a control ward denying it, so they were safe on that. Minute till Dragon. WE. They have a chance of a comeback here, Sam. 2,000 gold at 27 minutes. That is very small. I don't think that matters that much. Now, Monkey is still 3 levels down. TN is level 16. That is terrifying. Top Esports, they get the Dragon, they get the Hex Soul. Then, of course, the game feels a lot easier to win. But they should be rattled now, Sam. That is a big loss at the base they just suffered.
Yeah, it is level discrepancies that are hurting us a little bit here. There's 2 levels in mid, there's 3 levels in jungle. But of course, the flash being down on Cassiopeia, where all of those abilities are up largely for WE, with the notable exception of Cube's flash, is a big deal. Tien looking for those flank angles. Be ward off that one as he does try and get on top of the Trundle, but I don't think you win that 1v1 necessarily as the Lee Sin right now, even with your GA.
I mean, with the Karma shields behind it, looks a lot less even. You can't let this Dragon go over, but how do you approach the river? Cream is in position.
Tien goes looking for another Sonic Wave. Jackie looking for some poke. The Karma shields give them some license to get in here. Zuian on a flank angle. Karis stepping up forward. Zuian's going to be forced to back away as he throws down an Electro Harpoon that does do a fairly significant job of slowing Karis down. Blast Cone prevents Karis from getting over the wall. Monkey into the banana bush. They get to walk it. Jackie, my god, this Trundle is fast on the Frozen Domain.
It's the Frozen Domain and the Karma shields. The Karma shields are really helping them. They've bought their way into river. They've lost some HP. Teleport coming back in from Cube to recover. Pops himself an Elixir of Iron. He knows how important this fight is.
That's correct. He's got an arm guard to work with as well. Cube looking to go into another dimension here. The Realm Warp was popped but not taken. Cream threatening on a flank, down at 5,000 HP. Tien trying to get towards this Dragon, but he's being warded off pretty well. Feng Yue at 20%. He's not really a player right now. He'll go in, but he will die if he makes that attempt in. The equalizer down. He's interrupted on the Heroes entrance. You can over the fight. Tien is there, and it's won. But the fight after gets messy. Heroes entrance out. Monkey stepping forward. Zuian goes gold. Cream trading onto Karis, but he gets the petrifying gaze and wins the 1v1. The Hextech lightning difference. Top Esports hold their nerve. Cream gets jumped on, is taken low. Jackie Love nearly falls, but now they need to get out. WE with the man advantage. Tien goes in, ward hops over, but about flashes out. This could be the GA at least from Tien, but he's healing so much. Cube keeping people off on the other side. No mana to be found. A Sonic Wave, golden for a moment, but Cube's statue will swiftly be broken down. He teleports out. About Wormbone away.
I cannot believe that About lives through that play. Tien very nearly made the montage play. Ward hop to extend the Q reactivation distance. Top Esports get themselves the Hex Soul. They get what they came for. It was a very tight contest. A huge nod of the head goes to Cube, even in the death in that fight. Cube has been doing some miracle work here. Karis sadly on the rise. His Realm Warp was used for vision in that last play, but he's just not been able to get the damage down. He's 1 and 5. He's been shut out from so many of these plays. Cube has been trying his best to buy space, but he's not been able to find enough. Baron now started. W, can they fight back against a Hex Soul? Hard to imagine, Sam.
Yeah, there's no Blast Cone, no Flash for Monkey, so getting in from red side is such a chore. I think they just to give this one up, you can see they're kind of going, yeah, there's no way this is happening.
What a close game. I mean, remember, Top Esports were exploding into the lead with the first power, and they had a 6,000 gold lead, and then everything went wrong as they were aced in the enemy base around mid lane. WE, they have given up Hex Soul now. Cube has been playing excellently. I think the story of WE is about so many of these players which have been written off, that have been competing for worst in role, if not in Group Ascend, than actually the entire LPL. These players have struggled as a unit and as individuals, and Cube was one of the most criticized members Top Esports, though, they don't care for that, Sam. They don't care for that. They want to just be ruthless here and close out this game. WE, they want to make sure the miracle run is just a footnote here. It was the thing that almost could have been, much like W in 2021 again, who were in a very similar scenario, but they made it to upper bracket finals, lost in the lower bracket, then lost in regionals then too, actually. WE, none of the players from that roster from 2021 remain on this team, but again, for the fans watching it, that will be in their minds. They have been this close before. They have not been to an international event since 2017.
Little note here, Karis finally got the actualizer. That makes a big difference. A world of sins can be washed away. The moment that actualizer comes through in a team fight, you can do so much work. Fongler with the ghost again on this North, just hunting for anyone out of position farming. Worth noting as well, Monkey with a huge trundle item. I was chatting with Vestian about this. Spirit Visage is monstrous. With the Karma behind you, with your own healing, the shields and heals on this trundle, if you can keep fighting, is pretty disgusting.
Yes, we used to see Sundered Sky into Spirit Visage specifically for that reason. Your ult gives you healing, your passive gives you healing. It means that you become just incredibly tanky. Now, you are still behind a good amount of XP, about trying to poke out how he can, and he's doing a good job of that too. He is almost full build on the Varus. In fact, without the AD carry items, he would be, in fact, full items on any other role. Yeah, Jackalov's not loving that one at all. About credit to him, the Varus has been putting out an insane amount of damage. The ult goes wide there, though.
Nearly. The pillar was there as well. Tien's now into the base because, of course he is. This time, trying to threaten the flank, threaten the kick. He's been so surgical with those extractions of players from safety with those kicks. Inhibitor falls, 2 down, hook just wide. Top Esports can maybe look for more. Tien to the backline, gets onto a bout. Surgery! Neurosurgeon, the brain is just too massive from Tien. The petrifying gaze follows. It's a statuary in WE's base, and this time there will be no fumble in the base around the inhibitors. They will end things here. Nexus turrets under siege.
WE want to make it 2017. Top Esports want to make it 2019 instead. Tien is back, baby. He is back in Top Esports. He's back on form. What an insanely sin to end the game.
It's superb work from a player who the last 2 times I saw on Lee Sin fumbled it. Not today, not when it matters. Game 1 on the journey to MSI and the LPL finals goes to this man on your screen, Tien, as he leads Top Esports to their first win.
I mean, what a player, and what a game from Tien. Welcome to our little stream, our little corner of the LPL. My name's Nymaera, this is Initialise. We are actually brothers, and we actually cast the LPL. We've done this for a number of years now because there's no official English broadcast for the LPL. I was a part of it back when there was an official one. I had very, very fond memories of watching Tien, watching Jackalov, watching all of these players ply their trade and make a history for it. And we try and do that here on this channel as well, using a bit of our historical knowledge and our expertise of the region to hopefully give you an entertaining experience. If you'd like to support us in this journey, please think about dropping a like, a follow, subscribe. It does help us battle the algorithm on Twitch, on YouTube, or wherever else we may find ourselves streaming in the future. And of course, it helps us paying our rent as well. This is actually our job too. We've got an Opera GX sponsorship. We have a Ko-fi link as well. We really appreciate your time. We appreciate you spending that with us for the LPL today. This is an incredible series. There's so much history in it. We get to ham up the narratives because they fit here. This is a series where you do pull out all the stops and you talk about all of the history of these players because, Sam, it deserves it here.
Yeah, it really, really does. And again, I'm so glad to see Tien pull out the lead and not int on it. Oh my days. The last 2 times it played, it wasn't good. And I'm so glad this one worked out because it was one of those ones like, oh, Tien, you can't go 0-2 at the start of the game again, please. And he does such good work. There's a reason why this player has been so sought after by so many teams across so many years. We made the jokes, right, about look at Tien's silverware, with silver being the operative word, right? How many times has this player come second? Yeah, he finally wins Worlds, the monkey's poor curls, but what about the rest of your career? So far, so brilliant. It's been really, really cool to watch. And again, I don't think WE played particularly poorly. I actually think they did quite a good job. But that early skirmish in the mid lane, which was great at the start for WE, just gave Tien that 10-second advantage in terms of where he could be on the map when, and he took that and rolled it into a huge win. Alex is throwing out a load of links in the various chats, guys, so please do have a look at them. What those are, just so you know, folks, are our socials. That's myself at InitializeCast. Alex at Nymaera. Please do make sure to follow us and keep an eye on what we're doing. We do a lot more of this kind of things. If you like what we're doing, please do follow. If you're on Anivia's chat, you are watching a restream. You're not watching us. If you want to support us as well, then please do come make sure you pick on that one. About with some crazy numbers there. But on top of that, if you are feeling pretty generous today, a couple ways you can just help out. A, just hit the follow button, like button, the comment button on YouTube, on Twitch. Helps the algorithm massively, helps us show better things to sponsors and stuff, so the follow button matters. It just means that actually there's more people in general keeping an eye on us. We just hit the 11,000 followers threshold on Twitch, which is pretty awesome. 12,000 now. Come on then, guys. Make chop chop. That's the kind of plan. About actually insane numbers. He was really trying, so a lot of good damage out onto Ezreal.
Yeah, the problem was the fights were so like frenetic, right? They were so frantic that Tien could find his way onto him several times. Yeah. You know, his 3 deaths were pretty much all from Tien finding him in the backline. I think that WE broke ranks. I think Karras in mid lane, then about in the base, broke ranks away from the Galio that could have saved them with the taunt. You know, the Tien, the Lee Sin cannot full combo you if there is a Galio taunt standing on your arrival, on your landing zone. It's very hard to make that work. And I don't think Karras about understood that, and there's one moment. Of course, it's very hard to do that continually, because clumping up around a Galio W is a very short range, and you don't want to be stood there completely. Cube was really trying. And
this is great, right?
I mean, credit to them again. Look, WE made this game playable. Not many teams in the LPL can do that. There are many questions which I've been asked over the last week in terms of, you know, do WE deserve their wins? Are they actually good? And my answer is, yeah, they actually are that good. I think they've taken a lot of teams by surprise, yes, but they have also played at a quality which requires respect. Tien, I think, did respect them this game. I think WE have found an opponent that does respect them. I don't think BLG did. I don't think that anyone's Legend did. I think that they overlooked WE, didn't prepare accordingly, and they didn't have the answers to them. And Tien, right here, did. He's fought the early game. He won the jungle battle, which is so important against Monkey on his current form, and WE are now 1-0 down in the series.
It's just a Tien highlight montage network. I don't think it'll be a surprise who gets the MVP here, guys. If it's anyone but Tien, it's rigged. There is no way. No way this isn't a full 8 out of 8 vote for the jungler from Top Esports, because what a monstrous Lee Sin performance.
Yeah, no, it's for Cube for his work in the kitchen. You know, he char grilled those skewers so well on the Rumble. God, just got to give it to the culinary staff, Sam, sometimes. I mean, this is the play where I thought that things could actually turn around, and it looked like it very briefly. Swian makes the mistake under that turret, dies.
If they didn't give up the Hex Soul, then I think it was playable. The moment the Hex Soul still came through, it felt like the damage had been redone all over again.
Yeah. Top Esports surely respects W after Monkey wrecked them in a best of 5 in spring last year. You'd think so, but teams forget very quickly. They forget very quickly. BLG picked WE as their first round opponent, and they were punished for it. And AL lost to them as well. Yeah, this time last year, Monkey was doing very similar things on WE. That was with the Vampire roster, and now, of course, they have outplaced Vampire this time around. They will finish even higher than they did last time. This will be the highest finish for WE since 2021 summer. For 5 years, they have not been to this point. They would love it to not end here, though. They need one more win in a best of 5. If it has to be through a lower bracket, it'll be them or anyone's Legend or BLG. One of those teams got to miss out, which is a terrifying thing to say, Sam. It is a terrifying thing to say. Tien wants to be that gatekeeper. Of course, at this point in playoffs, there will be heartbreak. There is no two ways about it. Top Esports, an incredible first game.
Really good stuff. Folks, what also is really good stuff is we've still got a little bit of ad reading to, because there's ads on right now. If you didn't want to see the ads, you have to subscribe. If you want to help support us, subscribing is one of the better ways to do it. We are trying to push towards Partner Plus. So if anyone's been gifted us up, there's quite a lot of very generous gifters in chat. So thank you very much for helping us out on that front. Then if you subscribe at Tier 1, or actually Tier 2 or Tier 3, you get more points towards Partner Plus if you did the higher tiers. So just putting that out there. So if anyone feels very generous, there is always that opportunity to show yourself a true Hapgood super fan. And, you know, why wouldn't you be, guys? On top of that, of course, there is the Ko-fi link, depending on your particular phrasing. You will find that one over in YouTube as well as in the Twitch chat, and that's a great way of supporting Agnostic, or whatever channel you're on. And obviously, underneath us, we've now got 30 happy PCs. Someone else has downloaded Opera GX. If you don't want to spend any money on us, that's also fine.
Yeah, it's completely free.
You can still help us out here by downloading Opera GX via our link, because that helps us out.
Look, I'm aware that people don't have cash to throw at random people they watch on the internet all the time. But yeah, if you can just drop like, follow, and subscribe, and sign up for Opera GX, it does make a big difference to us, and that's completely free. It does make a difference. Tian does get MVP. No surprises there. What an insane game. Given that the LPL, I think right now, has the best junglers in the world and plays the best jungle meta in the world, where they play to enable junglers and they shut out the game from an advantage, getting an MVP as a jungler means even more. So can I grab another coffee if that's okay, by the way? Thank you.
I think that's 3 MVPs in playoffs so far.
Yes.
They've only played 4 games. That's pretty good going.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, well, hang on. This would be... how many games have they played, actually?
Was it a 3-2 versus
They played 4 games versus JDG.
This is 5 games.
And they played 3 games versus LGD, because this is their third series.
So it is.
So it's not round 2, this is round 3. Well, technically round 4, because
I forgot about the LGD series.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, that was a bit of a footnote. Anyway, we're gonna go put some ad breaks on now, because they haven't started just yet, and we'll get, and we'll have a break. All right, see you on the other side of the adverts, folks. Is this game semi-finals? This qualifies for finals. This game qualifies for finals. I gotta put on a camera. Actually, do I do anything during the break? Maybe I do. What do I do? I still have some Uma runs to do. Maybe I do my last Champions Meeting races on stream. Why not? Still mad that Tien was not on any All-Pro team. He's so good for 2/3 of the split. Yeah, people tend to value the back end of the split more than the front end of it. He was very, very good at start of split. You're right to call that out. I think who would I put as my All-Pro for... I didn't do an All-Pro this time around. Maybe I should have done. Okay, you're going to see some anime horse girls racing in a second, folks. Just let it happen. Just let it happen. Okay? I've got 2... Do I have 2 tickets left? I think I went 3 and 1. 3 then 1. So I'm in Group A finals, which is fine. Yeah, yeah, screw it, whatever. We'll do some Uma. We'll do some Uma. Why not? Okay, let's have a look at ye olde settings. That's fine. That's all good there. Cool. All right. Where's my source for it? Oh yeah, here we go. All right, okay. Enjoy Uma. But like, what have I got to do? So I'm running triple fronts. I've been doing pretty okay. But this is just how I'm going to spend my break, folks, because I got to do something to not burn my brain too much. So yeah, I don't really need any particular results. I already have a 3-win ticket. I'm fine now, basically. I should play more Uma. I have it installed. I mean, Trackblazer is a pretty hard scenario to play in, but once you get used to it, you get some really good scores. Thank you so much for the sub, the gift sub, Space Uwu Cowboy. Damn. See you later, Space Uwu Cowboy. Appreciate you, thank you. Okay, so how many fronts are in the lobby? 2 other fronts. There's another Summer Marazensky, so people are going to be fighting for front. Very harsh. Who is the top esports top lane? I don't think I've heard of him before. His name's Swian. Swian is a... He played in 2024 summer. He played very poorly for Invictus Gaming, went down back towards LDL. And then... Oh, late start's not good. Can't really afford late starts. Oh, is that a Guts Max Smaru? I think we just lose this now. We've lost first place. Yeah, I don't think we win this now, because their Smaru is just going to be way too far ahead. Oh, poop. That's not looking good. Yeah, I think we just lose this now. That sucks. Okay, I want to see the stats on their Smaru. Maybe we can... No, not even... Ooh, Victoria per planche is not bad. Yeah, I mean, if we get angling, we win that, but we don't win it from that. But yeah, Swian basically was very bad in 2024, came back and was much... and it's obviously been much better. So, what did they Guts Max? No, they didn't even Guts Max. How the hell did that work out? Huh? Cow. I guess they inherited Cacao. Taking the... I mean... Speed Eater and Restart, same as what I've got. I mean, they just got lucky. It happens. my Smario and my whole front runners are very similar. What is happening here? Let me switch this back over. The clean feed hasn't been great the last few days. I wonder if it's just because so many people are piling onto the clean feed. No worries, Guitari. Appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around. Sam has found something very interesting on the other side. What's it?
Who saw the Griffin tweet from the other day?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Did you see Griffin's response tweet?
You mean see it? Yeah, I mean...
No. Bad news, we lost. Good news, I successfully followed my doctor's orders.
What was that?
Because obviously they lost to Team Liquid.
Oh, yeah.
And his doctor's orders. I received... Am I allowed to read this on stream? Probably.
Sure.
I received some shocking news this week. I tested positive for gonorrhea.
Oh, God.
The doctor told me I can't F anyone for 2 weeks. Unfortunately, I'll not be able to follow doctor's orders if we play against Team Liquid tomorrow.
Wait, they have a Christmas augury? What the hell? Hang on, Sweet Tosho. I think we just about won that. Holy moly. Did Verben get it? Nice, cool. I was really scared of that Sweet Tosho. Sweet Tosho. Does she have what's her XL? That was scary. Hang on, who's even running this right now? I didn't think that UMA even worked. Standard spare is... Okay, sure, that's mid-race, that's whatever. I didn't think that UMA worked on this map, did it? Then 777s as well. I'm pretty sure this doesn't work. As in, like, you don't get both portions of your ult. That's why no one's playing Christmas Augury in this map. Mark Zimmerman replied to a tweet with plus 2k as well. That's funny as heck. Okay, so how many fronts are there in this lobby? Okay, we're 3 fronts again. Basically, if we win front, we're in good position, right? UMA 2 works as a heal, but not as a trigger. 777 is too early. Yeah, exactly, Shamrock. I was like, UMA, I know it works as a trigger. I'm aware of that. I've ran Christmas Augury in some ranked modes with them. This late start's not great, but it's whatever. We want triple Speed Eater, obviously. Okay. We're gonna get like all 3 of our... We've got second Speed Eater in there. This is not... That Taiki is very scary though. That Taiki is in a very... We'd lose this. They're way too close. They are way too close. Yeah. Oh, it's close. Something... Nah. They just got... They closed the distance so quickly. Jesus. Scary as heck. They closed the distance so quickly though. What scores were they? Damn Course Menace, same as what I've got, really. Maybe I think they got a lucky Radiant Star in that one. How did they get that close, though? Damn, crazy. Hey, vamos, Leon. I used to speak a little bit of Spanish. Dame los cables de batería, los pollos he escapado. That's one of the few phrases I remember, alongside Donde está la biblioteca. Hablo un poco español. Studied para 5 años. And then I didn't speak Spanish to anyone, I've forgotten most of it now. I understand a decent amount, though. I didn't realize the Horse Girl racing game is this in-depth. Oh my god, it is so in-depth. It is so you have no idea how in-depth it is. I've played this game for over a year now. Oh, sorry, you hit compliment? I will get to that, Yo. All good. Sorry about that, I missed that. Remind me if I forget things in chat, folks. I'm not a perfect streamer. So we would need to win first place, otherwise we don't get Victoria for Plancher and angling for scheming, really. Angling and scheming. No late starts. Do we actually win first place? Falcon needs to get her ults. We are not winning first here. Hang on, maybe Bourbon? Oh no, Bourbon's actually getting first here. This is not... I don't know, I don't think we can hold on to first, can we? Oh, it's close. Oh, we got first. I think Bourbon just runs with it now, no? Oh, god, fucking gold ship. Oh, that's close as hell. I know I'm like super speeding it, but okay, we'll switch that off now. I think we actually just got away with that. We did! Nice! Okay, I'm very surprised at that. Okay, we'll turn that off. We'll change our audio over, and we'll get back into the game. Oh, I accidentally put this at really low volume, not off. Okay, right, we'll get back into that. Again, I'm just doing stuff during the break. It is what it is. But yeah, it turns out that game is really in-depth, folks. You have no idea. Hey, thanks for the message about there, Cowboy. Appreciate you. Okay, we're getting very close now to our second game, in which, of course, Top Esports are in the lead. He ordered a taco, I know, right? I don't know if the children are being punished for the ancestors' sins, but can we please stop having international tournament with... What the heck is that emote? Huh? Big fish. Does anyone know what that character means? That is a gigantic character. No. It's a giant character, giant character, Chinese character. But it looks cool as hell. The calligraphy's fun on that. But, man. Okay, well, draft. You know the music. Time to dance. Draft starts now. Okay. Last draft, again, really seemed like jungle was very, very prioritized in terms of level 1 agency for Monkey. I can posture check as well. I can do that. All right. Okay. I see how it is. I'll get around to that compliment soon, don't you worry about that. We have Nefiri banned away. Nefiri is big for both of these jungles. Nefiri has been, I think, the OP jungle pick of LPL playoffs so far. The Nocturne is banned away, no surprises there. The Ashe banned away from, you know, the inevitable Ashe Seraphine duo, which people have to be so aware of.
And it does feel like, as you once said, a very, very wise person.
Oh yeah, a very wise person once said this.
But the moment you start blind picking something often enough, it's no longer blind pickable, because people will solve the equation eventually. And things like the Lucian Milio did feel like they really did begin to manage the Ashe Seraphine quite well, because the cleanses really undid a lot of the early power you would expect. And the Lucian Milio, with that extra range, were able to trade back quite well. TN, though, who had their Vi banned in the second phase last time, is going to first pick it here in game 2. Corki getting locked in. I'm assuming that's going to be with the Nami here.
I suppose so. That is big prio on that, Sam.
It is a good Nami, I will say that.
He is, but this isn't doing something for jungle. It's leaving mid-jungle for top esports to potentially take over the game. Of course, Karis was really the big loser of last game in terms of not really able to impact the game. The Rise, despite being a power pick and one of his most comfortable champions, was not impactful at all. Thank you so much for the extra gifts up there, Cowboy. You're
wow, guys.
That's a second one alongside a couple of gigantic emotes as well. Appreciate you. So top esports going to go back to the tried and tested Yunara Lulu answer to the Corki Nami. We've moved away from this bot lane to gifts. Appreciate you. So you can take that gift.
Yeah, that's right. This one's for me. I see you, Cowboy.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. But yeah, we've moved on from this bot lane meta. We don't see that much Yunara right now. We don't see that much Corki Nami right now. Karis is thinking about an Annie. Now that does make sense because you have the Nami, you don't have any engage from the support role, you pick up the engage elsewhere. In this case, it comes from mid lane, and it's a safe mid lane pick. Very few things deal with it very well.
I'll just step on that Yunara again briefly, or step back onto that point, not step on Yunara, that feels a bit unnecessary. But the LPL official broadcast put on a graphic, yes, this is the Chinese broadcast, basically saying here are the 3 bait picks. Yunara's one of them, she's 2 and 9.
Yeah, I think the ones they picked were Cassiopeia, who just won last game, the Yunara, and then the Ambassador. Yeah. So these are 2 out of the 3 the trap picks, as Ferguson is saying in chat. Ferguson is a member of our community who's been, and of course the LPL community, who's been very cool to kind of connect with and talk about the actual Chinese side of things, because you know, they're more tapped in with the Mandarin side than I am. Who I don't even have a Weibo account. I should get that at some point.
I prefer Clementines anyway. I'm not a massive fan of Mandarins.
Oh, wow. That's great, Sam.
See, I made an orange pun, Alex.
That's great, Sam. That's wonderful. Wukong banned away from Monkey. 2 of the better combos with the Vi taken away from top esports by WE. The Ari and Aurora out of the picture. Now, into the Annie, you typically like to play something just a little bit tankier. Something like a Victor, despite the fact that it doesn't combo very well with the Vi, might still be okay purely for laning matchup. The Akali is gone. Cream starting to be stressed out a little bit about the champions you pick into an Annie, which are actually impactful here.
This is a flex.
It is. It is a flex. We don't see Aatrox much at all. It's very good at invading early and taking raptors, taking wolves. Aatrox, if you get to just sit and farm, really, really good. If you get guns down on the front line, though, champion feels kind of bad.
And you did mention the Victor, and Victor is quite good into the Aatrox, because the gravity field really does mess with him unless you time your Qs quite well.
I actually quite like Aatrox into
Really?
Victor.
Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
I will defer to your judgment on this
okay,
one.
put it this way. If you take a fight with a front line in front of you, Victor's good into Aatrox. If Aatrox sees a Victor without a tank stood in front of him, oh my god, that's a field day for Aatrox. Just runs at him, you hit 1 Q, he dies. You just cannot escape after that point. The Scion is locked in purely to stop that as well. It can be pretty bad in the Aatrox top lane matchup, which is a problem. But I think top esports realized, oh, we cannot let an Annie Aatrox run at us, and perhaps an Olaf as well. Top Esports have themselves a lot of immobile carries here. Sam are immobile champions in the backline. The Lulu is at threat. The Victor is at threat. The Sion is at threat in the front line. The Olaf might go jungle. It could go into top lane as well. It doesn't matter. Either of these champions does well into the Vi and into the Olaf.
And Monkey is a bit of an Olaf specialist. The Trundle and the Olaf have always been pocket picks for him. Even when the Trundle was out of meta, he was still pulling it out. You've got a Nami behind you as an enchanter, a tidal wave behind you to keep you rolling. It's going to give you more move speed, and they, of course, all of the other stuff that it helps with on top of that. And a Molten Shield. You are going to be very annoying to disengage.
Cube hasn't played the Aatrox in a while, but he used to be a big player. This is going into an ad break, so I appreciate everyone from watching those ads and helping us along here. And Monkey was a huge Olaf player back last year as well. This isn't stuff that we'd see this year as much, but we do see it now within, we see it now after the context of last year. Makes it much more powerful. Top Esports need to protect their backline. If Aatrox or Olaf get to go swinging into the backline, they don't get to live through this game, Sam. I think this is a good draft from WE if they get the Aatrox and Olaf ahead.
Worth noting as well, the last time we saw Monkey on the Olaf, he was in that last series was really dangerous, just ran at people. It kind of got a bit messy towards the end of it. A few overforces onto an Alistar, trying to abuse the true damage to get through the Alistar ult, and didn't work out that well. They overplayed it a little bit, but on the whole, the snowball was very, very dangerous, and it became very difficult to deal with the early snowball. Onto the Rift we go for the second time. The Gyos, I have no doubt, will be coming in hot and heavy. Prep yourself. Woo-hoo! Volume gets pretty damn loud out here. Back to an earlier era of bot laning. Of course, have a look at some of these runes. Nothing super surprising. Corki's gone towards the Conqueror, as of course have the Aatrox and the Olaf. DFT's in mid lane. That's about it. There was a bit of a conversation in chat as well, and obviously I was just doing a little bit back on looking at various stats, which is fine.
One thing which I'll just quick note there, actually, while Cube hadn't played in regular season, actually the Aatrox has been a big pick for him in this playoffs. Played it against LNG, played it couple of times throughout the year. I think it's his 4th game of the year on it, but he's played a couple of games recently. But again, I remember it from last year, really. We think of him as a tank player, but the Aatrox has been someone which has been in the back pocket for a while. Of course, I remember Cube from back in his days on Rare Atom, where he was like a Jax Aatrox Renekton player. He was very good in 2023. It was really after that point where the slump came through and he struggled to kind of live up to his earliest career reputation. As the push comes in from the Nymaera Lulu, the Corki Nami soaking the wave at tower. Both junglers going from top to bottom.
Yeah, again, we're not seeing anything particularly spicy in terms of the early action yet, which I think does give me the opportunity to potentially pose this question to you, because I think we saw a couple of people in chat going, yeah, okay, so it was a first pick Vi. Who does Vi really ult happily this game?
Corki if you get in range. Corki if you get in range, but then the question was happily. That's where the problem comes in, because you don't want to ult, you don't like ulting Aatrox unless you insta-kill him, because if he gets to pop his ult, gets a Nami heal, and he gets to auto-attack you once with a Sundered Sky and his passive, he heals up all of the damage you've done to him, and he doesn't care, and then he kills you.
It's a couple World Series where that happened very famously.
Exactly. Hang on, potential early gang.
Nice.
Now, the thing about Olaf, he clears pretty damn quick, and Cream, if he gets hit by an axe...
Does get hit by the stun, the flash is down. He might still be in danger here. They're going to run at him and try and get the kill regardless. It's going to be really close. Oh, it's too far. It's too far, and it's a double to Cream incoming. Disaster for WE. The World Elite's world. The burn! It's not enough.
Apart. It's just the one kill. Monkey misses the final axe, Sam. He missed the final axe, which he flashed for. Tien will get double scuttle. Olaf is laid onto the map. Is the dream coming unraveled, Sam? Is the dream coming unraveled? 2 games in a row, Monkey goes to something huge in mid lane, and he fails both times. Now, he's going to walk up towards his top scuttle, but he doesn't have double buffs. He's a level behind. Tien will kill him here, Sam.
He's got the buy. Maybe that makes a difference. And Karis is over with the TP. I think it would have been a bit far, so it will be the smite onto this. You should get level 4 from Monkey, and this then potentially allows him to not do too much. Would have been a bit too far.
I actually think Tien could kill him. I think Tien could kill him. That I wonder whether Tien should have pulled the trigger a little harder there, actually, even with Karis around. That's disaster for WE, Sam. I actually like WE's draft, but it needs the Olaf and it needs the Aatrox to be ahead. You'll notice that Cube has gone for the early cull. He's aware how free of a lane the Sion is for the Aatrox. Barrier prop by Jackie, love that.
And it needs to be. Also, there's a big old shield from Songyue's Lulu with the Whimsy. We'll be all right there. Of course, that puts Cream into a spectacular position versus Karis, who's now down 10 CS and a kill and the double buffs.
Oh, and Cream, look, Cream, I think, for international viewers, has often been looked down on quite heavily because he's had some bad international performances before. You think about MSI 2024 was a a mixed bag for him, although actually it was really, I guess Worlds 24 was the year, was the time when it fell apart more. But you think about, first down 25 was not great from either, but Worlds 25 last year, I think actually he started to redeem himself a lot. And for those of you who've not watched him regionally that much, I really think that Cream deserves a lot more credit than people give him within the community. He has come off the back of one of his best ever splits, perhaps his best ever split individually. There's a lot of nostalgia for his 2023 and 2022 splits on OMG, but I think he's way better individually now than he was back then, and he can actually contest with some of our very best players in the league and be very reputable for that. He's 2 levels ahead of Karis, almost. A level and a bit, actually. Did briefly have the 2-level advantage in the number on the big plates. And Cream's had a gift of the early game given to him.
That's that. He now gets to be up about 800 gold off the early plays. It's not really off Karis's decision making, if you know what I mean. And again, if that last axe hits, maybe we're having a different question. It was always going to be a hard dive. It was always going to be a risky one, but the fact it doesn't work out is tough. Cube, though, again, we've asked him to be a tank player. We're saying we don't like it when Cube is on carries, but early on in the year, it was him on the Jace that was one of the few winning lanes for WE. Right now on the Aatrox is doing well into the Sound, was getting some proxy farming done. Tien and Monkey face check each other in this tri-brush.
So yeah, Cube's holding up his end of the bargain, and I actually think across the entirety of the fight, Cedric Pouch jumps forward. Oh, that could be a problem. Polymorph gets hit by the IQ.
They're gonna have to flash away the Aquas, and that was a bit much.
I don't think they knew that TM was there, Sam. That's the only reason you go for that. You can't fight over this now. You don't. Hang on. Maybe they can. Cube's coming down.
Oh, hang on.
Here goes Cream.
And he doesn't have the flash, remember, still. That makes things spicy. Monkey, though, doesn't have his own level 6, and Tien will get... They help the kill onto Monkey. Aatrox gets polymorph as he can't keep rolling. There's a lot of people in the river. Jackie has to flash. They get to survive. That's a lot of members. The side of the Zuian Sion still not here. Karis looking to get some more down. The gravity field is good. 1 kill. They can't turn it into more, and somehow, some way, Cream gets away with it. Good polymorph, important.
Well, big reason he gets away with it, Sam, is because Cream is completely flashless, and the Aatrox flashes his Q3 away from him. Sion's going to go into the... He's been proxifying himself, by the way. It's sweet. Sion gets himself individual advantage. Sam, I think W have been rocked here. I think that their mental's been rocked. We might get a replay of that. Cube should have 100% killed Cream there. He roamed down for it. The fact that he doesn't get that kill is disaster. Should have been an easy kill had the World Ender rolling. Missed Q1 onto, I believe, a stun target. His Q3, he flashed onto the clump rather than onto the Victor to get a reset with his ultimate. Huge mistake, I think, by the Aatrox. And we're just saying, Cube, he's been holding up his end of the bargain. That is a big misstep. Dragon's going to go to top Esports. They win the fight in the 4v5, getting a kill. This looks like a pretty clean game. We are going to get a replay of this. Just watch what happens to Cube here. I know a lot of things happen on the other side of the fight too. Cream misses Q1, gets Q2 in the auto attack, and then watch what happens with his Q... Watch what happens with his Q3. He flashes it to the side. Cream has no flash. That should have been a Q3 into death. Doesn't get it.
Yeah, I think you get that kill on Victor. We're having a very different conversation. So Victor gets to sit there and get through a lot more rotations. You do get a couple more summoners and all that kind of stuff, but it's now 1,000 gold lead to top Esports in these early stages. Importantly, Monkey is now 0-2. See whether he can recover again. It's not like the Olaf is out of the game as yet. He's going to try and find a timer onto this blue buffer just off on it. And hasn't been taken out in terms of the experience this time around. He's going to look for these grubs, which I think is a valid enough target. Getting that for people like this Aatrox, I think, will be a good idea, because I think Aatrox as a split push win condition is certainly a possibility here.
To top Esports, we'll watch the grubs go over, but top Esports should be very happy, I think, for how things are going. Both Cube and Monkey are not nearly as far ahead as they should be. Monkey and Cube, I think, by their own decisions, really. Top Esports has been somewhat gifted that, like we've been saying.
Here we go.
I actually like WE's composition. Tien has that ultimate. I don't know what it's about.
A bit risky with the Nami behind. Does have that Valkyrie. They're going to keep trading here and try and get some chunks down. There's the smite away. We're getting any contests from WE? No, not really. Dragon's a little ways off. First one was picked up by Top Esports because WE, as we saw from Monkey, traded that for grubs, so it's not like they got nothing there. And this is recoverable, and I think what we'll give WE credit for being is very, very stubborn. The grit that this team has now is very, very high, and we saw that in that last game, right? Being down so much, Gold still able to find a few clutch team fights to make things much more even and fair.
Cream still very happy here too with the kill and the assist. Also has an extra 50 stacks towards his upgrades. He's got 84 CS. He'll have his first one well in hand and is on his way to his second upgrade, which will be the Q upgrade most likely for the Victor. Well, it's almost always there. The only difference really is basically if you upgrade your Q first for some very heavy trading as opposed to the E for wave control and technically better damage. Actually, thinking about that, that didn't have the explosion beyond it. That actually might still be, that might be the Q evolve first for Cream, actually. Sometimes you do it for the extra shield and the movement speed. Interesting. That, yeah, he's not upgraded his E first. That's actually quite interesting.
I guess it's because he's into something like the Olaf. That extra bit of shielding and move speed might be quite valuable.
Yeah, it is. Realistically, since the Annies, you get the double shield from your Q. And the big thing. So if you trade Q for Q, the Annie can't out-trade you now, basically. Even though your wave control is less good, who cares? You're so far ahead anyway. He'll just use it for the extra move speed. In fact, you'll watch it here. It's actually a pretty big shield on that, isn't it? And then he gets another one from the Lulu.
Yeah, it does indeed. I would say that shield is somewhat of a lie because there's a Lulu like faking it from behind the scenes.
Haha, look at this incredibly strong Q shield. Haha, yes, there is no one behind the curtain. Don't ask.
Cube potentially going to get run out here. There's the Scion ult. They do get that initial chunk there onto Cube. Will now get the world ender, but it's into a decimating smash. The CC chain is disgusting, and Cube is not able to disengage the lane gang.
That is a very big play for Top Esports. It doesn't necessarily feel like a big play because it's just one kill, but now the Aatrox is very far behind in stacking their cull. Scion is getting a lot of gold. They're going to try and answer back. The Annie is teleporting up, but then Swian teleports out. Great reaction from the top lane of Top Esports.
Yeah, they do get the teleport at the very least, so that might cost them a little bit here, and the Aatrox can probably just turn up mid lane and get over towards that play just fine. So actually, it could end up trading out in terms of some of these minion waves and stuff. So, you know, it's not like you get nothing for it. And I think that is fair enough. A little bit of a stutter there in the clean feed. Thank you for the follow, by the way there, Triant. Try and hold back on the here. He's got about a minute until the dragon. Both top laners, of course, and both solo lanes for both teams going to be down there teleports with that minute marker to dragon rolling forwards. Vi is here, doesn't have her ultimate as yet, so I don't think she'll necessarily be able to find too much here in this bot lane.
I really hope that W aren't running out of steam, Sam. I really hope that W aren't running out of steam. It feels like they're still trying to play the style which got them here, which is early aggressive plays, grouping early to force these very, very quick 5v5s earlier than most teams are prepared for. But it feels like it's just not working out for them, Sam. It feels like Top Esports are judging them better in the early jungle pathing. I think that Cream in the last 2 games being able to just about outplay with TN coming over in that first game as well has taken the wind out of W's sails. And if Top Esports just keep answering the early game like this, it makes it so much harder for W to get off the ground. Another wave into turret. Cube is now down 20 CS in a matchup, which he has counted. It should be a dominant matchup for the Aatrox into the Scion. I think W are bleeding out too many resources. They need to have gold on these melee bruises in topside, and they're 20 CS down a piece.
Well, see whether they can recover some of it here going into the dragon. The river is very dark, actually, for Top Esports, and there's someone in this Tribrush. Will someone be unwise enough to face check? TN thinking about it, but has some thought process. It might not be as empty as they think it is. Dragon's been started, so the bush has been emptied. There we go!
Fongu, a great flash away.
Needed to be.
Valkyrie forwards, the ult from Karis goes wide. The respect from Top Esports is insane there, Sam.
Look at Cube on the flank angle, could still come on over and make things a bit interesting. The trap's there, flash away from about. We are now a little bit desperate, but all the while Monkey's been left real low. Jackie kills off Karis. They're trying to blow down Creep. Flash out from Monkey. He can't get the kill he's looking for. About's been split off. Jackie keeps rolling. The spirit is cultivated, and Corky's torn out of the sky.
Top Esports lost to Team WE this time last year to get locked out of MSI contention as WE beat both them and JDG and 25 split 2. I think perhaps they've taken the lessons of last year to heart, Sam. I think perhaps they are the most respectful team we have seen against WE in this playoffs run. They have not given WE the early access into the early game. They have not given them the easy picks around objectives. BLG and Annual's Legend did great flash away from Fungyue. I think they spotted that out. I think that is a hell of a bold play for Fungyue to make, but it does lead to a one-team fight afterwards because there's no Annie ultimate. They have the Lulu in terms of enchanting afterwards. And you just see how much of a mess it is when the Olaf and the Aatrox just don't have the stats. Cube comes in as half HP. Olaf doesn't have the damage to stand in doesn't have the damage or the HP to stand in the Chaos Storm. I think this game is well out of control already, Sam. I'm getting a very sinking feeling that WE are getting swept here. I have a very sinking feeling. I think top esports have been so respectful, so impactful in the early games, and WE have not been able to succeed in the style of play which has gotten them here in the first place.
Yeah, again, it's looking pretty dire, down 4,000 gold, and I think there is going to be an issue here as we come towards these kind of mid-game team fights where you needed this Olaf to be a threat, you needed this Aatrox to be a threat, we were worried about who the Vi was going to ult. Well, if they're this far ahead, you can just full send at someone, and it doesn't necessarily matter that much. I also want to give a shout out to Svian, who I think's had a really good Sion game here so far. It's been really clean. Yes, Cream obviously donated a lot of the early advantages. That's great news. Tien on his Krugs will not be threatened by Monkey. There's that level advantage again for Tien, who is still one of the most dangerous junglers in the league. They're going to try and go for another bush bait, potentially edge towards this turret. They want to play for first turret there. They got the team with the grub, so I can see what the thought process is there. Svian again denied from his Q by that Aqua Prison. Cube here alone. They're going to try and make this play onto him. He's going to try and clear out the wave best he can, but he misses a couple of those Qs. Does manage to get at least half the wave. They are running onto Svian, who's been body blocked by the Ragnarok. The tidal wave comes on through, gets another knock-up. The true damage is strong, but they just can't quite get the damage because about and the last axe isn't enough.
The Olaf doesn't have the damage. The Olaf doesn't have the stats, nor does the Aatrox. It was a bold plan to pick the double bruises in some ways, but it should have been a lot better than this. Many people will walk away from this thinking the draft was bad from WE. I would contest that and say that WE were too ambitious in the early game, and most importantly, didn't execute on the early game due to their own mistakes. If the Olaf and the Aatrox hadn't made those early mistakes within the first few minutes of play, I think we'd be having a very different conversation. What's up, Sam?
There's a little stuff I was trying to figure out whether there was some audio desync with it or not. I think it's fine.
Okay, cool. Well, Sam's got the headphones, so you can blame him if it's off that. Okay, you have permission, Chad. Okay, just let you know, permission to bully.
I think it's fine. It's the reason I was just listening in and putting both headsets on. I think it's fine again now. Just with some of the stutters, it's like, is it happening there on the stutter, or is it?
Yeah, I think the worst thing for WE is this is not a composition that can come back from behind, really. In fact, what I'm going to do is this clean feed really is starting here again. We'll go change over the servers once more, and we'll see just whether that can make a difference here. Potential dive onto top lane. Svian does have the roll quest teleport. He's just going to ult away, though. Flash from the Annie to stop him.
They want to try and bring this down. They've got the double bruises here. Svian with no flash, with no teleport, is a dead Sion. That's not a bad trade, and they should be able to turn that into a turret after. They want to donate this over to someone important. It'll be the Annie that picks it up. All the while, though, look at top esports. Going right, we'll run through mid.
Yeah. Now, the problem with WE's style, as an identity, WE group up and make plays as early as possible, as often as possible. The best way to, if you can't answer that yourself, the best way to deal with that is say, okay, you can get one kill, but we'll farm 2 waves and farm different turrets at the same time. They get themselves a lot of gold off of mid lane and bot lane. However, W are still playing around shutdowns. They're still playing around objective bounties. This is a good play for them. It will get gold over to these bruisers, which really, really need it. Top esports, do give up a little bit of something there, and WE, I don't think it's enough, but perhaps it might be the first drop that is needed to fill the bucket.
Yeah, and that is a big thing, right? The fact that it's not WE doing nothing, right? Because again, yes, they trade down, but they do trade. And I think the thing is, if they do nothing, they still just lose for free, right? At least this way you get something, which I think is better than other options. We're getting to the point where potentially we can play around this dragon fight. The problem is it's going to be 2 items to 1.5 really here, which is a bit frustrating. So I do worry a little bit about how easy this fight would be. But the fact that Jackie with that Cold Complete got the Fiend Hunter bolts on top of that Kraken Slayer. I'm looking at mid lane where there's a Rocket Belt on top of that Blackfire Torch. Top lane as well. The Bramble Vest is a still pretty good half item. And obviously you don't have the second item for Monkey. You don't have the second item for Karis. Bout is not quite the Muramana transformation either, so it will just be so point for top esports to come silent ulting in. Will flash, and as we is pretty deep here. I don't think they really have the damage at this point to bring him down being that deep. Maybe now they can put a little bit more in.
Not even then. He just got a Lulu behind him. You know, he just flings himself into the backline, realizing, look, the Aatrox, the Olaf aren't going to be doing, they're not in position to do that damage. And top esports, credit to them, they have really just made sure. Oh my god, Monkey might just get one shot himself. Cowstorm drops, teleport coming in from the Annie, but with the Olaf so low now, I don't think they can fight.
Oh, they've got a massive cease and desist onto the Aatrox, who's brought low. And now about Valkyrie's away. Reminder, Karis isn't here because he TP'd elsewhere, and top esports take the opportunity to pounce.
Thank you so much for the gift subs there again, Cowboys. Well, I guess that's 2 for 2 kills there, isn't it? WE been held to, sadly, the Germany-Brazil scoreline, 7-1 up there. I'm so sorry to mention that to any Brazilians in chat. Again, I'm aware that this is like a national tragedy for yourselves. But yeah, top esports, I mean, they've been disciplined and they've been respectful. I think one of the things last year on WE's playoffs run in Split 2, their most successful split was, I was sat there thinking, look, these teams are just not banning the right champions against these limited champion pools. They're letting them play their comfort style, and they're losing because, you know, you give any team in the LPL their comfort style, and they're going to make a good run for it, aren't they? WE here are being allowed to play their style, but top esports have answers to it. They have been respectful. This doesn't feel like the same as last year, where top esports kind of sleptwalked their way into a defeat versus WE in what was, you know, horrific playoffs for them, where WE kind of rose above. WE are not getting so many easy inroads this time. Sadly, I will say, though, a lot of that is due to their own misplays. I think that Monkey in the early game has not been good enough. I wonder whether the pressure of the occasion, being on the precipice, has gotten to them. It has been a legendary playoffs run. It has been. But I don't want this personally, Sam, to end in such a whimper like this. Of course, if they go to the lower bracket, they'll face off against one of 2 teams they've already beaten in BLG and Annual's Legend, but they'll be coming back for revenge. I don't think they'll take them as lightly again. You'd rather just win it now and not and put that question to rest.
There is Monkey. Just getting chunked out. This is a 4,500 gold lead. They've managed to, of course, get a couple wards onto Baron as well. Cream just stepping forwards, trying to interrupt some backs. Karis going to get as much as they can. And look, there are a couple of second items in now. Maybe this play around the Ocean Dragon can be a big deal. As about gets jumped on, but does just about escape. The problem is he's now on half, and Jackie with the Lulu behind can threaten this tier 2.
That's why Cream goes through it, right? He protobelts forward just to say, all right, let's just get this AD carry down to half HP. We don't have any big objectives up that we're going for immediately. The Baron isn't really going to be started that soon. If you just chunk people out to half HP, they can't contest the map. They can't look for the comeback fight. And if Corky's there on half HP, Vi one-shots the remaining HP. Oh, it's technically not a one-shot at that point, but we'll take them down with their full combo beyond that. Now, About has managed to heal up with the red buff and with the Nami heal, but again, had to play back for another wave there. Karis walking forwards, looking for Fung away, but the slow lands.
And again, it's low percentage plays, and again, it's a comp that needed to snowball. They haven't. They've melted in the summer heat. And that has proven to be pretty damn disgusting.
Our fan turned off, had to turn it back on again. Monkey looking for something. Can they run at Creep? That is a lot of damage, although the Chaos Storm is down, so can't put out anything more than that. Objective bounties are still up and available for WE. They're walking up to clear some vision around the Baron. They're trying to group up and look for something, but again, WE, they love to group and fight early into the game. Now it's a little bit late for that, and they're behind a lot of gold, and top esports are not giving up the easy kills that Anyone's Legend and BLG did do in their own series versus them.
Monkey's down 60 CS now. He's dropped so many camps because of what's happened across this last 5 minutes. And it's not like necessarily anything you can do as a jungler. He was even enough with TM for the majority of it. But because they've now lost a load of these outer turrets, because Cream can invade, you are losing out on these camps because every member of top esports just turns up and hits a death ray on your Corki to force him out of the jungle, overcomes Fongue, throwing down a load of wards, makes things very, very challenging. As a result, Monkey's still at 1.5 items. He needs this stride breaker, but it's 30 seconds to Ocean Soul. I don't think he'll be able to go back and reset for him.
Okay, so Dragon up in 30, as we've been saying. WE, this is the last hurrah, Sam. You cannot give an Ocean Soul to a Scion with a Lulu behind them. You cannot give this up. The clean feed just stuttering a little bit. I hope that cleans up in time. Top Esports looking for their entrance into River. WE, can they find themselves the angle into the fight?
Gonna try, of course. The river control is decent enough, but there's that one ward they haven't spotted, and that's making things so difficult. About stood on it. Zweon's gonna threaten him with the Roar of the Slayer. TN on a ward of his own behind the pit. They're gonna try and rush this down, but it's just not being done very fast. It's part of the problem. Zweon with a potential decimating smash to quite a half-fight find. Look at TN again, still looking for that flank, still looking for that way to get into the back of the pit. It's on a ward. They know he's there.
They are. Good damage onto Monkey. Starting the fight at 2/3 HP is not great for the Olaf. Getting hit by the Dragon 2. Death Ray comes across. Gets some extra coke coming down. Karis looking for the angle.
Goes TN on the angle. Does pull away. But of course they zone off the rest of the team with Zweon's ult. The tidal wave flies. Zweon survives. And the Dragon goes the way of top esports. And the Ocean Soul is theirs to do with as they please. And what they please is the death of WE. A flash in from Jackie Love. And WE melt under the power of the tides.
WE lost too much gold early on, and they just cannot fight. The Olaf and the Aatrox actually looked good in the draft, but the first 5 to 10 minutes of play just saw them so far behind that they cannot contest. Cream had a great fight, dropped a 4-man Chaos Storm briefly at the start of it, and Jackalev cleans up. He's 5-0-2. The Yunari gets to dance in between the battle lines and make the difference. Baron will be a prize afterwards. I mean, I heard I don't know what he's doing here. I guess he's looking for a bubble steal. If he gets this would be legendary. He misses it. He misses it. But hey, we have to sit and consider that for a second. Cube is one skill shot away. Won't die as about Monkey run back out onto the map. Top Esports, real credit to them. They have taken this series in their stride. A great series from Cream so far, who's been doing very impactful work. Buying the early pressure from Monkey in both games and still being a very strong team fighter. Cream is my player of the game so far in this game too, although to be honest, Jackalove is also on the shortlist there too. Great Chaos Storm. The amount of damage just forces everyone back. You can't really see any world now where Karis can really get that big engage. He's still trying to hang around the edge of the fight, trying to look for a big stun. Can't get it. Olaf isolated, dies. This game has been over, really, for a good 15 minutes. It's just Top Esports bodies catching up.
Maybe this can be at least something back, you know? It's not the best thing ever, but hey, you take what gold you can get. We're in slow motion briefly. The Valkyrie comes down, and TN flashes out. You've got to be kidding me. He gets away with it, and now Zweon, this monster, is here. The rest of Top Esports turn around, try and turn this into something. Zweon still alive. The Ocean Soul and the Lulu Wild Growth is more than enough. And WE can't even get the CC'd Vi. The Guardian Angel on her shoulder buys all the time she needs.
Gonna try and CC trap Cream if they can. There goes the Ocean Soul. The shield's coming through. Can he live through it? He's getting decent damage. He dies. Okay. Top Esports will lose their mid laner. But as we said, Sam, it just feels like Top Esports have already won this game. WE are dead. It's just their bodies catching up with it. TN will die, but he stops the recalls. The inhibitor will go down. Actually, that might have been a mistake from TN. 2 deaths now, and it's just the inhibitor. The game is not over at this point. You did just give a couple of kills over. First deaths of the game, actually, for the mid-jungle of Top Esports. So that'll be some shutdowns involved over to WE. It's not enough, but just a little blip there.
It's who gets the kills? Well, like, do you really want Annie with the kills at this point in the game? Like, does that realistically change the state of things? I mean, it's the burst might be helpful, of course, but I think I'd rather that on the Corki right now. I won't lie to you all. Still, game goes on one way or another. Ocean Soul value was pretty obscene there in that sequence again. Guardian Angel plus Ocean Soul is pretty strong.
And I think it's just so hard to get that kind of damage down. Look, the thing is, right, WE would love to be able to run into a 5v5 and just be able to out-heal with their own drain tanks, right? That's not going to happen. Can you even do that isolated now? I don't even think you can, Sam. I don't think you can run it, Sveon. He's got a crazy amount of farm, a crazy amount of farm on his W course, which helps him out. Because his laning phase was actually very impactful in this game after Cube left and failed that early skirmish. The Baron power play is not that high from Top Esports. Can they actually kill him? I'm actually not sure. Well, maybe they can.
Good. Yeah, they can. He's not that tanky right now, I suppose. He doesn't get a chance to heal. You get a kill. You know what, WE? This should have happened 10 minutes ago, but we'll take what we can get.
I was about to say, I think he is that tanky. He's got 3 items as a late game Scion, but they still end up one-shotting him. I didn't expect that at all. A great play from WE as they once again give some late game worries. Top Esports. Cube has to pop that all early, though, as Jackalove is done messing around, wants to get some damage down.
Does indeed. There's the Chevaliers to speed everyone away. Potential bush angle here. They're going to try and force their way into WWE space. Cream's got to be a little careful here, actually. But again, the damage isn't superb from Monkey, who's gone for a Sterak second, by the way. He's very alone. They're going to throw down a tidal wave, but he knows he's dead.
Yeah, so they one-shot Swian, but they don't have really anything left for anyone else approaching them. They use all of their ults in the last minute, and Cream just gets to walk at them. Initially, I thought, well, okay, great kill. Perhaps they do have the damage for some kind of surprise plays. Top Esports will not have a Baron to walk with into the base now. The wave clear should be enough from Team WE. About not bad damage onto Cream there, but the Ocean Soul, if he gets a tick onto someone, will keep healing him up.
There we go. The inhibitors begin to fall. 5v4 for the moment. Still got 15 seconds on Monkey. Nexus turrets in the eyes of Top Esports.
Okay, so no Baron buff, but they do have a ton of damage, and Swian is back. Roll quest shield from Swian.
They're going to get onto those Nexus turrets, down to 1 remaining. WE holding desperately, but the Ocean Soul, the weight of minions, proving difficult. Good damage again onto the Scion. There is some damage there from WE. They get onto Cream, who gets to Mikhails, gets out. Oh, gets deleted. The Arc of Ruin is just that. Jackie Love, wild growth, and the spirit continues to cultivate. It's a Shancha story, and Jackie Love will slap the faces of a few young masters. WE, the upstarts, find themselves 2-0 down to Top Esports.
Top Esports are respecting WE and are frankly just better than them here. Cream with an excellent Victor game, probably walks away my MVP, although there's a real shout out for Jackie Love in there too. It's one of the carries, I think, who did a masterful job of dancing between the correct distances in the team fights and getting great value across this game. WE, they came in with a very ambitious early game plan, and it simply wasn't enough. It simply wasn't enough. I think that particularly Monkey and Cube on champions, which needed to get themselves ahead, they needed the gold, threw away their chance of success in this game within the first 10 minutes. I think the gank in mid lane was very unlikely to work, and they still went for it anyway. Ended up costing Monkey his life and a lot of lead in that jungle. Cube roamed down early, mechanically messed up his kill onto the Victor. That messed up his lane as well because he gave up waves for that. I appreciate the ambition, but the execution today from W has not been enough. Top Esports are by far the better team here on the day, and now W have to reverse sweep their way to MSI in this time around. Now, they would go down to the lower bracket, potentially find a way to MSI through that. You don't want to be in that lower bracket, folks. You don't want to be there against, BLG or the team that beats BLG. You don't want to be there, despite the fact that WE have beaten them before.
You have to do it again.
double tapping a team like that is very, very hard to do because they're going to be prepping absolutely everything. And I do just wonder whether WE have run out of steam. I do just wonder about that, Sam.
We shall see. It is a tough spot. Guys, if you don't want to see the adverts that are coming up shortly, then you will need to subscribe. Subscribers don't get ads. And you know what, guys? You know you want to support us. Come on, come on. It's a great option. If you don't want to subscribe, there is still a Ko-fi link, which is a great way of donating to the cause. If you are on YouTube or in Anivia's chat and want to help us out, please do consider supporting us, because obviously we're reliant on all of us to keep doing this. Anivia is a restream. We are kind of reliant on all you guys to come and help out otherwise, a bit more directly for those of you who can choose to do so. On top of that, if you don't have the cash to spare, and that's completely fine. And if you do, it'd be really lovely, guys, if you had a look at Opera GX, who is our sponsor for the month. ! Opera GX in chat. It's a really cool browser, guys. If you use Chrome or a Chrome-based browser, you can still drag over your bookmarks and extensions for free. It's not going to cost you. It'll do that automatically for you. It's actually a really cool website. Got a lot of cool synergies with those of us who do some gaming. And if you're here watching League of Legends, my suspicion is you are as well. And again, you can try it and go, you know what? Not for me. Go back to your browser, and that's completely fine too. All you really need to do is go to that link, download the browser, and that's it.
Well, no, it's not it. You have to sign up for it. You need to sign up for it on the browser as well. So you need to download and also sign up on the browser as well. So you need to sign into your account.
Oh, sign into your account. Okay.
Yeah. So you need to actually create an account when you're in the browser too, because otherwise you won't register. So it's not just about that. And yes, Dio did ask for a compliment as well. Gosh, let me think about that. I appreciate your tenacity, Dio. I know that things have not been easy for you. I appreciate the fact that you still turn up. You're still, part of the community and, living life. It's a hard thing to do sometimes. I really appreciate that, Dio. Even though the times are tough. I can't believe we missed that last axe. I don't know if it saves him anyway. It's just a bad gank. It's a bad gank. But yeah, dude, I really appreciate, you know, you've been through a lot of stuff, and I appreciate that you have the strength and tenacity to keep going through that. And we appreciate you being here as part of the community with that too. Oh my god, he just flashed away from it. I don't know if he knew that Cream didn't have flash. I wonder if he thought that Cream would flash into the rest of the team. I don't know, man. That's I don't know. I think Sam W are crumbling under the pressure.
I also think it's a bad matchup. Tien is so smart into other carry junglers. I expected Tarzan to do something similar, but I think actually hilariously Top Esports have been more consistent, so it gives Tien more room to work with, and it's just therefore a really bad matchup for Monkey in particular to get things rolling. And if you take Monkey out of the equation, that is the engine room of WE kind of collapsing, and they don't quite have the same impetus without it.
Filthy Pheasant wants a roast. Well, I mean, sure, cool, great lunch, thanks.
Well,
so we're gonna, you know, like make sure that we take all the feathers out.
Yeah,
first.
it's very important. We need to clean you off because you're filthy. Yeah, come on.
Are you sure? So, do we really need to have that for lunch? Can we have can we have a better pheasant? I don't want that as a roast. I don't want a filthy pheasant. I don't want that as a roast, Sam.
Come on.
First, like,
boo, work harder, fight.
Boo, get a shower.
You got the coffee, mate? You were right.
No, I got most of this one still. Good casts, by the way. I'm enjoying them so far. I think that we're judging the games fairly effectively. Right, I'm gonna do the rest of my Uma runs, I guess. I think arguably the get a shower is probably better than the other roast that we had. Oh gosh. Okay, let's switch over. I'm actually gonna take that off for now. Actually, no, I need to keep that widget on. Let's get us out. I need to do the rest of my Uma runs. We're 2-2 in this one, which is fine. Again, we're in day 2. I'm expecting things to get harder anyway. Okay. So I'm just doing basically the rest of my CM14 runs for day 3. But yeah, I'm running triple fronts. I don't have Mile S on these two. She has Turf S in terms of the surface, Grass S basically, and then my Bourbon has Mile and everything else. My Bourbon has Mile and Turf S as well. Okay, so 3 fronts. We're getting first, but can we get far enough away from the late surges? I don't know. Jackie Love's player of the game, no surprises there. Well, I say no surprises. Oh, we got a double late start. Get worried that we are not that far away from the back line. I guess, okay, I guess the, oh, hang on, Bourbon is really far ahead. That's very good for us. If Bourbon gets into the lead, I think she does carry on with this kind of lead. We got a Speedy to go straight into the late game. Mile SFS, it's close though, actually. Wait, did we bowling ball them? So there's a thing which happens called bowling ball, where if a front runner doesn't get acceleration, they kind of just block anyone else trying to accelerate past them. So you kind of work out well there. Okay, I need to put on some adverts because I haven't done that just yet. So thanks for sitting and watching the ads. So while we wait for WE's 3-2, what country wins the Football World Cup? I'm not locked in with football at all right now, folks. I'm not going to lie. What has happened to this? You all good there, Uma? I'm going to have to reload this. Sure, let's do that. Okay. I'll reload that in the background. Whoopsies, let's not do that. Cool. Scotland! I mean, they made it to the World Cup for the first time forever, which is great for them. Okay. Should be ready. Oh, I guess the race didn't complete itself. Weird. I guess I'll just replay in the same way. Weird. I guess it just crashed on the end screen. Weird. If I wasn't American, I'd be Scottish, so I'm biased. Yeah, look, the thing is, there are so many Americans that, like, claim heritage for countries that they've had, like, they've never even visited or lived in. And, like, there is some importance to that, there is that. But, like, there's a difference where, you know, because, like, a lot of people who, like, 3 or 4 generations removed still kind of... It's a bit weird, right? Because in Europe, I guess the opinions are a little different. But I guess in America, just because, like, it's very different in terms of how we view kind of heritage, I guess. I don't know, I guess it's just different perspective on that, right? Because I think a lot of Americans kind of claim heritage for a lot of things, even if they're very far removed. In Europe, it's like, you know, for instance, you know, my great-grandma was Irish, but I wouldn't consider myself Irish. Whereas some people in the US might do that. What is happening here? Why does this keep breaking? Why does this keep breaking? Huh. I have no idea what's happening there. I mean, the race is just broken. Huh? Have evidence? I mean, it's not about evidence. It's just like, if you're like a couple of generations removed, then it's like... I guess the thing is, it's like, have you ever actually lived in that culture? And I mean, if you ever lived in that culture, obviously, so it's a little bit different, right? Because if you, there are some cases where, you know, and I say some cases, but like sometimes, wait, did I? Sorry, I'm getting confused with the human stuff happening on here. Don't want to put my foot in my mouth with this, but like after a certain while, you know, if you don't get kind of brought up in that culture, it's very hard to relate to that culture in the same way. Especially, I think particularly it's a bit of a conversation around like a lot of American opinions around it, because it tends, the American opinion around it, because like obviously in America there's a lot of focus on kind of like, well, because a lot of people who live in America, obviously most people that were there, unless you were like Native American, have roots back to some, oh gosh, some other culture, right? What is happening to this Uno race? Weird. Okay, finally won. Okay, cool. There are six times as many people claiming Irishness in the US as there are people in Ireland. I mean, there were a lot of Irish people that went over to America due to the famine and a number of other reasons, right? I think a lot of people don't quite respect that they were treated as second-class citizens for while they were there as well. A lot of people don't respect that. Okay, right. Let me do the rest of my aim runs. Managed to get through that one. Kind of bugged on the thing then. Yeah, perhaps that too, Homeless. Perhaps that too, yeah. The Americans are more accepting of being both American and another culture. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah. No dream run for WE. I think they've run out of steam, and I think Top Esports are really punishing them now. I think they're really punishing them, which sucks. I mean, Top Esports going to MSI, they'll have another chance to redeem themselves. I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure if I believe in them, folks. I'm not sure if I believe in them. Every time I have, and I thought something was different, it hasn't worked out. Maybe the two newer players to the roster in Feng Yue and Tsuyan can make something happen, but bringing new players to an international event just has... Oh, are we winning first here? Okay, Falco's in first. Falco in first really helps. Because Falco's ult is just insane. Oh gosh, that was... Did they just get Guts Max there? I don't think we win first now, do we? Oh, we do. Nice. Go on, my son. Nice. Wait, this is almost an entirely front lobby. Okay, thanks for the... thanks for the recovery right there. That's kind of hell. That's kind of funny. Yeah, I don't know. Every time that Top Esports have gone internationally, they haven't proven me wrong. I'm not going to fall for it again until we see it. Yeah, I had a 7 front lobby yesterday. I've had about 10. Oh wait, how many races have we run so far? Well, it's 20 each day. I think I've had about a little under 10 7 front lobbies. There have been a crazy amount. So actually, when I was prepping for this, the guys in the Discord server I'm in for this, yeah, I guess AC, I think it's about family traditions, right? If you're brought up within a culture, it's a little bit different, right? But if it's, I guess a lot of people who are from, I mean, most people don't care about it too much, but like if you, yeah, claiming to be just, oh gosh, whatever. I'm not going to talk too much about this because I'm going to put my phone in my mouth inevitably, and I haven't worded this out well. But anyway, oh wait, that's an 8 front lobby? Are you kidding me? Huh? We're all Proto-Indo-Europeans? Exactly, yeah. Okay, oh, we got a late start. Late start is just a killer. I mean, this is just a knife fight, no? Wait, hang on, we actually might still be okay here. We actually might still be okay. Bourbon actually gets a roll? I don't know. This is rough. I don't think Bourbon can beat the other Bourbon, can she? No, not even close. Well, it would be very funny if the one... Is the one end closer going to win? No, not quite. That was funny as heck. Hey, Will, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Is 369 playing MSI? No. Swian will be playing. Swian's got to be playing. I mean, I think... whoops, I have done that wrong. I need to move that over, and then we'll move that over there. Cool. Oh, is it broken, the end game thing again? Okay, right, 1 second. I've got to go fix this. Can you give us an anime recommendation? Yeah, I've been watching Ace of Diamond, which is a baseball anime. If you like sports anime, I mean, Haikyuu is the best sports anime ever. It is fantastic. However, if you're looking for another sports anime, Ace of Diamond is actually very good. It's got a ton of content. Hey, Angie, how's it going? Compliment for Angie. Angie, I've never seen such a discrepancy of someone who like looks as good and is as stylish as you compared to your opinion of how good you think you look and how stylish you are. You are like, you're stunning, and you don't believe it, but you are. So yeah, I have a soft spot for Slam Dunk as the best sports anime. The problem with stuff like that and stuff like Kuroko no Basket, for me, actually, no, Slam Dunk I don't know as much about. The problem I have with a lot of other sports animes is that it just feels like they're just superpowers, but with... They're basically superpower anime, you know? Rather than actually sports anime first. In terms of other anime recommendations, if you want something really dark and gritty, Marduk Scramble. A lot of... Yeah, it's nasty. That's like cyberpunk, kind of like really dark stuff. Marduk Scramble's really good. Cowboy Bebop, yeah, Cowboy Bebop's fantastic. It's one of the greatest anime of all time. Kuroko no Basket, Prince of Tennis. I need to watch Ping Pong the animation as well. I need to watch Ping Pong the animation. Yeah, Angie and I wanted to do that. But yeah, Haikyuu is the best sports anime of all time. Go watch that. Infinite Stratos has great mech designs or something like that, right? Look, you're not there for the mech designs. You are there for other things. That's every anime. I mean, yeah, no, Kuroko no Basket is basically superpowers. Haikyuu and Ace of Diamond, the thing which is interesting about them is that it makes it a lot more tangible to the actual sport itself. Which is why I prefer them over most other sports anime. Which I think are... Yeah, there are issues with that. Hang on. There's like 3 bourbons. Oh my god, there are so many bourbons. Alright, back on stage. I'll run this one real quickly. Do we win first? Ooh, hang on. Smaru being this far up is good. Is very good, actually. Yeah, we're actually winning first here. This is good. Although there are a lot of Taikis. Although the Taikis aren't going to get their ults because there are too many front runners. This is good. This is good. And we get angling. Okay, that's sure something. Do we get the speed? We actually got speed. Were we getting a 1, 2, 3? That's kind of hilarious. What? How did that happen? Okay, right. Let's change over the audio and let's get back into the game. Nice. Cool. We got a 1, 2, 3. Nice. Cool. Great sports anime is Run with the Wind. I haven't heard about that. I have not heard about that. Are Pokemon considered anime? Yes, yes they are. Pokemon are anime despite the fact that they were aired so heavily within the West, same as like Dragon Ball and Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Which a lot of people would say Saturday morning cartoons. Slam Dunk has the grounding of learning. Tell you what was actually pretty good too, although I found it very funny at points. All Out was a rugby anime. Now I've grown up with rugby all my life, and in the first episodes in the first episode, I can count, in my opinion, 4 citable offenses, as in like illegal moves which would get you banned from rugby. So like tackling without arms dangerously and stuff like that. But it's actually a very good anime. Okay, let's get ourselves into draft number 3. How much caffeine I'm on? Not that much today, actually. Maybe I'm just better rested today, and I'm yapping like 100 miles an hour. Ornn banned away from Cube. Top Esports trying to ban away the tank top lane pool. Top Esports have been on the ball magnificently in this series. It has been an excellent series from TM and Cream, Jackalove, the whole team, really. Seraphine, if it is the first lock-in, could be paired with either the Ashe later or the Jhin. The Seraphine is the better part of the duo on the whole than the Ashe. However, we did see BLG beat the Seraphine Jhin the other day. Gala and Vampire did their best. I mean, Vampire did. Jhin really struggled in that game, sadly, for them. WE on the other side, looking up Monkey's Xinjiao. Tip of the spear, quite literally. I will note that down, actually, Run with the Wind. I will note that down. That sounds very fun. And I can definitely give you anime recommendations. Maybe I should add that as a channel point reward. Maybe I should do that. Right, the Lucian locked in as well. So the Lucian is not, well, obviously not going to be the Ashe. They don't have to lock the Milio right now. There's no chance of it really being stolen by the other side. it does mean they're kind of forced to lock it on 3. So you've locked in your Milio on 3 basically already. Do you want to lock in your Xin Zhao now, or would you prefer to be more flexible? Now, the Xin Zhao is a takeaway from the Ashe Seraphine, because Ashe Seraphine loves a Xin Zhao in front of them, because he's a great encore extender, great with the ability to just form around a Death Ball. Xin Zhao and a Death Ball with an Ashe Seraphine is one of the strongest things in the game. Now, Suyan thinking about the Jace. They need to lock in the Ashe to complete that duo. Really, I guess they could leave it and go for a Jin later, but there's too many threats of that the bans in the second round, taking away things too much. For that, there's an older picture of Jacula there, back with the old LPL logo. Gosh. Top Esports, do they lock in a jungle matchup, or do they go for that top lane instead? Perhaps Suyan just thinks he can be better than Cube here. Suyan, a newer player on the block again. The thing about Suyan is that he's not a true rookie. He actually debuted in the LPL in summer 2024. He played 6 best of 3s and didn't impress. He has had to climb his way back into relevance, and he has done. Credit to him, he has done an incredible run of form in this split, particularly coming in unexpectedly for 369, who took a step back. The Milio is locked in on 3 as we have foreseen it, or as we foresaw it. Forsooth. Second round of bans. Top Esports need a jungler. The Jace can be flexed mid lane if there is a difficult matchup top lane. We saw BLG do that versus JDG for game 4 yesterday. I think the Jace flex can technically go into jungle as well. I don't think you want to put the Jace jungle into the Xin Zhao, not with the farm speeds being such a big discrepancy. Now Jace is just not quick at clearing jungle compared to how he used to be. Ahri banned away from Cream, trying to take away some CC options from mid lane and some playmaking options. What does Karis want here? Well, you don't have great engage from WE. I don't think you can go for anything. Look, engage options from mid lane are like, well, Yone. Well, Jace gets flexed mid, actually, at that point. I think Cream actually destroys you. I don't think you can afford to do that. I was just talking about the Jace flex in this part of the draft. We're going to draft 3.
Cream is a big Jace enjoyer.
By the way, Sam and I have tickets to the LEC finals later today, so if you're in Berlin, come and see us. We'll be there. I'm deciding whether I wear the BLG jersey. Perhaps.
Just commit, that's
fair.
fair.
I think I just commit to it, and if I get stabbed on the way out, worth.
I'll grab my G2 jersey, that'll be my play, and we'll have some fun with it.
Where's Kitty? That's a great question. I assume she's streaming on her own stuff
I
right now,
believe so, but I haven't checked.
It was cool to get Kitty on Sam cast with Kitty the other day.
Did.
It's cool. And tomorrow, I may well be casting with Quickshot, who's gotten himself co-streaming rights for the LPL. So tomorrow, I'm just finalizing things with Trevor, but we might have Nymaera Quickshot combo there, and Sam, of course, welcome to join us. We'll need to figure out tech stuff, so that's going to be the gating factor there, but we'll figure it out as best we can. It's the Aurora locked in for WE. Other side, Twisted Fate. Well, that's your CC, Sam. That's nasty.
That'll be the plan, yeah. I mean, if possible, be great to join. We'll see how that all works out. So TF comes on in. Potential flex to other lanes, still worth noting. Of course, Tien has been pulling the Wukong back out and been looking to use that a bit more regularly. Last time went 2-2 in the early stages, but managed to recover as things went later.
Okay, so Wukong would lock the Jace into top lane, lock that TF into mid lane. Well, no, technically they can still actually flex around the place. Really takes it away from Monkey if it goes to a later game in the series too. He's been a confident player of this, but Top Esports won't want to really be thinking about that. They want to be thinking about this game here and now. Last pick, the Yorick gets locked in. It's pretty good into TF and the Jace. Even if they flex it, doesn't really make much of a difference. I'd imagine it's the Jace top lane. Overall composition, very little CC from WE Sam. They have basically 0 engage. They must early skirmish. I'm worried for WE. I think Top Esports outdraft here. The gold card, the Ashe Seraphine are so easy ways to start fights. We're going to go into an ad break to talk about the competition, and also so we don't have adverts during the game as well. Top Esports, I think they have a much better draft here, Sam.
Yeah, I somewhat agree. I will say the Milio ult could be really annoying for the initial burst of engage. It's very possible to go in as Top Esports and realize you've not got the CC you thought you did. Maybe that helps turn things around. The AoE damage is still good from WE. Problem is, I think you're right. Once you get a little bit later and those gold cards are on very short cooldown, you start having a very different conversation again, don't you?
Yeah, and then you only have one Milio ult. Only have one Milio ult, which can be killer, really. Can cleanse one thing, not everything. I think WE, they've run out of steam. I think Top Esports, as long as they don't give up early skirmishes here, we'll be seeing this out in a clean 3-0 sweep. And sadly for WE, you know, they beat Top Esports this time last year. Top Esports looks like they are giving them a bit of heartbreak, or at least the first half of it. They'd send them down to the lower bracket to await the winner of the games tomorrow, which will be Anyone's Legend versus BLG. Both teams they've beaten before. I don't know if I trust them to beat them again, Sam, with Fury and Vengeance on their mind.
To the riff we go for what could be our final time today. Crowd are as energized as ever. A lot of damage there on the top side with Cube and Zuyant trading out early. Not too much more outside of some early tete-a-tetes. Both jungles starting top side of the map again. All the while, a little bit of stuff going on bot side, and that will be the end of things for now. Again, I'm not really seeing too much spice here. Jace got the early shove, TF with the early shove, Ash Seraphine with the early shove everywhere. Right now for Top Esports with the early shove.
Top Esports really haven't backed down in the laning phase, have they? I think that Karis has had a poor series against Cream, who has been by far the better mid laner. I think that bot lane has held their own somewhat from WE, although Jackie and Fungaway have been doing a lot of damage there too. I don't think bot lane has been the issue for WE. I think WE in general have had more issues on top side than bot side. I think that Top Esports have seen off the early top side skirmishes, which has often been where WE in this playoffs run have found their winning angles. Monkey going for a 3-camp. He's been spotted with the map hacks, though. He's going for a 3-camp. Early recall, going to bot camps.
Level 2 hawk shot, by the way, from Jackie Love to make sure they had that no Rangers focus taken.
Okay, so Top Esports will have full information of that, Shinzao. Now, Ash is so uniquely useful at giving that kind of confirmation on where a jungle is or isn't in the early game. Now, LPL as a region is the region of junglers right now. We have the best junglers in the world and we play for them. You know, there are great junglers elsewhere in the world like the LCK and even in LEC, right? But I think LPL has the best of the bunch in the current meta and the way they play around them. WE have leveraged their jungler to success, but this series it has not worked. Tien has been the better of the two. Monkey beat out Shun, beat out Tarzan, which that's a hell of a matchup to see as well. Of course, even before that, beat out Croco, who's no slouch himself, even in the play-ins. WE haven't been able to leverage their jungler nearly as well as they would have wanted.
That's the plan as Tien will get this bot side Scuttle Crab, but Monkey will be able to walk over to the other side of the map and pick that one up as well. Obviously, he did have the earlier reset, so he's in a pretty good spot to skirmish. Can maybe interrupt Cream here on the reset. This is his first TF of the split, by the by.
Yeah, I can't remember him being a big TF player in the past either, actually. It's not so much springs to mind when I think of Cream. Of course, he was the melee assassin player in 22 and 23 on OMG. And then he was made into a mage by Top Esports. You know, we had that kind of Mulan parody of like, make a mage out of you, where you kind of started picking up, I mean, he always had the Victor in his back pocket, but then he started picking up the Karma, the Hui, the Azir a lot more too on Top Esports. TF, not a champion that's been in mid lane meta that long though. It's come back again this year. We had a little bit of it last year. Twisted Fate used to be, you know, the mid laner to play back in like your season 2, 3, 4, that kind of time. Was a staple of the lane. It's taken a while to come back. It's been more a top lane pick in the more recent era than mid lane. Although always a fun champion to watch. Plays the game very uniquely compared to others.
Jackie looking for a bit of a trade. Gets kicked back. About dodges away, but still hit by the root because, of course, only one beat drop is required for that. And About being left very desperately low here. Continue to keep the shove going. Fongyo up with a lot of mana, but About really wants to pick up this wave. But look how low he is. Dodges away from the volley. Gets a bit more of that experience, but is going to be forced to reset nonetheless.
Just check the stats, actually. This is Cream's first career Twisted Fate game. As we said, he wasn't the mage player before Top Esports, which of course he joined in 2024, 2 years ago now. This is his third year on the legendary organization, which of course has had players on their roster like Knight and of course rookie came for that 1 year after in 2023 as well. Cream is in the lineage of great mid laners for Top Esports. First twisted fate of his career, though, setting up for a gank on mid lane, but, well, one little W hop into invisibility traded for another. Harris and Tien go invisible, look at each other, and nothing happens.
No, not all that much happens. Monkey staying. This has been a relatively quiet early game. No full sends that have flipped the game around so far. Fengyue's gone for a roam into mid lane, trying to help Cream get this shove. I think he does want to reset here. He's been interrupted a couple times. Top lane. Cube found quite a lot of CS here, actually, into Zwian.
Yeah.
What's happened there?
Well, I think Zwian is very happy with the matchup, is what it is, Sam. They could have given him the top lane TF if they wanted, and Cube's Yorick, I've never really been a huge fan of it, Sam. Cube today has, look, his first game I thought was actually fine on the Galio. I thought he was actually very good on the Galio. The Aatrox was poor. Hang on, there's a jump over the wall from, well, just around the wall there from TM. A little bit of damage onto about, nothing more than that. Quiet early game so far. I say that, it is still a 1,000 gold lead to Top Esports. They've gone it purely through late. Yeah, and again, WE across the last week or so of LPL, couple weeks of LPL across playoffs, have been very good at getting early leads. They have been laning well. They have been skirmishing well. That hasn't happened here. Particularly that top lane. I have no idea how that's happened, because normally the Yorick is very good at staying even with the Jason. Eventually becomes really annoying for it. 45 in YouTube chat saying, I feel like the LPL's been more entertaining than the LCK this split. Well, you know, I don't watch as much LCK as I used to, because I'm watching so much LPL. What I will say is the LPL has been incredibly entertaining, even just agnostic of any other region. Not that I'm comparing region to region. If you're not watching the LPL right now and you haven't watched the regular season, seriously consider it, folks. It is a really fun region. We are currently international champions off of first stand, and it has been contested. We've had BLG pushed by teams like Anyone's Legend, JDG, Top Esports. We have a good cadre of top teams here, and W, of course, too. They beat them in this playoffs. Yeah, the playoffs run's been great, but the whole split has been very entertaining. I think the removal of lane swaps has really helped LPL. Now, start of the year, when I saw Atacam was being removed and the lane swaps removed, I basically said, look, this is the year that LPL wins Worlds, otherwise it's kind of doomed, right? You know, because the meta just seems to be shaping up. We can finally play for out-muscle lanes again. The skirmishes and the team fights, rather than the intricacies of the lane swaps. TF going bot lane. Does look for the gold card. About's been left so damn low, and they'll get the kill. Fengyue is traded. I don't know whether it's going to be actually for a kill, because it looks to me as though it was an execute. It was. You can see the tower logo there. It's the execute. There we go. Cube now gets jumped on there as the last rights come on down. Zwian flashes out there as he was caught inside the dark procession. Yeah, that was a great timing from Cream. He manages to get back to mid lane in time for most of the wave here. Misses 3 melee minions, but you take a kill in bot lane for the 3 melee minions there. And yeah, WE don't get any damage back onto Fengyue. It's a kill for death. I guess the kill going to the Seraphine feels a little less good. It is what it is. Seraphine's not bad with gold. You just prefer it on someone that's one of your primary damage sources. He teleports him a really decent top lane. I think that's how Q ended up losing a lot of his... Oh, the arrow lands. There's a gold card following into the beat drop. Hang on, Monkey's here. Maybe they can turn it all around. Cream has to flash. I think perhaps they got a little baited by what was a really good arrow. Managed to somehow get it onto him as Karras catapulted himself into the way of the ultimate. Almost turns around for a kill himself, forces a flash out of Cream, so arguably ends up being a better trade for WE. Ult for ult, and the flash on from the side of Cream. And Cube's done a really good job of stabilizing topside as well. Just picked up a couple plates. Zwian on a really awkward timer there. Had managed to blow Cube's teleport earlier than his own. That's how we got a lot of that early advantage, but because he blew the flash on a really bad timing, loses most of a wave and 2 plates to that turret. Back to life we go. Dragon's been started. Smite fight over at the Crescent Guard denied. Reminder, the Smite fights have largely been won by TN and done so again. Monkey cannot win a Smite this series and dies after as well. Jackie in the pit looking for the slows about, doesn't get it. Karras goes for the 2-fold hex, gonna try and get over the wall with a W. Will not be allowed to for a second or two longer, but Karras will just get jumped on by TN, who waits for a Nimbus strike and gets another. Top Esports dismantle WE in the river. Every early game has gone against WE. We're even getting a Raptor steal from the Jace, who's walking into topside jungle. WE are down 3,000 gold. Sam, this series hasn't been close. This series hasn't been close. I think Tien has butchered Monkey so sadly. For those of you who have been tuning in on the hopes of a WE miracle run, I was asked before the series today, who do I think was going to win and who did I want to win? And it's quite simply, my heart wanted WE for this, conversion of a miracle run into something special. But my head said Top Esports. Top Esports are such a good team domestically. I know that many people watching from globally will think about their MSI runs, their Worlds runs, which, yeah, have been disappointing. And as they go to MSI, I will have those worries. I will share them with you. But purely domestically, you take over.
So good, yeah.
You take away that perspective. Top Esports are a hell of a team to face.
Again, we're going to go back to this skirmish play here, because again, the Dragon was started by WE, but again, another smite fight. I don't think Monkeys won one of them. We're going to immediately drop out, though, because about being jumped out in a 1v2. The CC chain is absolutely foul. The flash away. Jackie doesn't have his own flash. Ura flashes over the wall to come on in. Now, Jackie might actually be a little deep here. There's 1 second on the culling. Not going to use it, and about survives the play.
Shakulov didn't have the flash. About burns both of them. About survives. Can stick around in lane. Does have a pot ticking. Might be able to. Second TF ult of the game from Cream also goes bot lane. Now, he's been fine on the TF so far. Doing okay in that laning phase. Had to flash away, as we said, from Karis in the mid lane earlier. Volley lands onto About. It's getting a bit scary there, actually. One more skill shot lands onto him, and he is a very, very unhappy Lucian.
I wonder whether he might burn the culling to clear the wave. Hasn't needed to. Still, down about another plate or so. Loses a couple of those CS, but hey, they get away with it. Zuyan is spotted roaming mid. Does that matter, though? Karis goes across the veil, and we'll be happy enough with that one again. At least Karis did get a kill.
Speaking of Zuyan, look at the control and the lead he has there. Purely just off of laning, he has a 25 CS lead, more than that because the wave will be coming in now, so it's basically a 30 CS lead. Part of that will be the Raptor takeaway from him. He's freezing another wave here, so he'll start building up a slow push, crash it in, and then look for another roam away from it too. Zuyan is such an interesting player to talk about. But realistically, if you're watching these, I would imagine a lot of people here are people who watch maybe playoffs, maybe internationals. But so you'll know the big name players from Top Esports. You'll know Cream because he's been here for a couple of years now. You'll definitely know Tien and Shakulov because they're world champions. But you won't know about Fengwei and Zuyan. Zuyan's a player who came in on short notice. He was on Top Esports challenges. 369 was playing poorly. He kind of had a bit of a mental break, I suppose, and just said, look, I can't keep playing after getting destroyed by Flandre, I believe, in one of the online qualifiers. Zuyan came in and he immediately decked Bin with counterpick an entire series against him, and he's done incredibly well for Top Esports doing that. Ash Arrow lands down there. Shakulov taking a lot more than I think perhaps he wanted. But I think that Zuyan, you know, in mid-split, struggled to play without the counterpick, but now he's refound his form. A player that started in 2024 on Invictus Gaming, struggled to make an impact, has really been a hidden gem here for Top Esports.
And again, considering actually he kind of lost a bit of that lead because he was forced to burn Flash and lose 2 plates off a dodgy trade with Cube. So at the very least, not to put too far a point, Cube has recovered somewhat from where it was actually. And you know, if it stays at this point, the Yorick will come back into things a little bit better. We'll see where it goes. And again, the Steel Caps, the Morning Mist is still a tough matchup as things go on. But hey, if you can kill off this Maiden, might feel a bit happier. That precision is really problematic. The Thundering Blow's going to have to flash again. That's the second time that's happened. He's going to die! The last rites! Cube gets it the moment we start praising him. Unfortunately, Zuyan, you can send your complaints to Nymaera with the caster curse.
We thought this was an impressionist painting. No, Sam, it's all cubism. Do I have anywhere to go with that? No, I don't know enough about
Frankie, show me the money. The plates come on in, and Cube picks him up. Oh, it's so good.
It goes into slow motion here on the clean feed. We'll get a quick refresh on that and we'll see what... I don't know enough about cubist artists to make the joke really land.
Well, you're going to be tarring all of these references with the same brush, aren't you?
Oh, shut up. We don't even have a way in the game. Here comes the gold card. Talk about that instead.
Monkey's going to be in so much danger. Crestcons, but very late. Flashes away for TM. Will flash for second one. TM's going to be left very low. Makes things a bit spicy. The encore flash catches to the arrow after. Oh, Top Esports. That just looked superb.
Yeah, they're still the ones making the work of art in the team fight, Sam. Q puts himself, brush to pad really in the top side. And the canvas looks good for the individual matchup much more than it did before. But Top Esports, they have a sprawling work of canvas to work in the bot side, which works out so well for them. You know, Cream with the CC, Shakulov and Fengwei following up. Dragon goes over to them. This is a 5,000 gold lead with a 2-dragon advantage. WE are on the ropes. More than that, Sam, they're on death's door here.
Yeah, and at this point, I just got to call it out. Monkey's been having a crap series. Like, this is not good. The Crescent Guard was late, and he is left bereft in the river one more time. The flash wasn't good enough. They're going to try and jump onto potentially Cube here. The Dark Procession does come on down, and again, in a 1v2, I don't think Cube's going to have that much in the way of opportunities to try and escape. He goes to the alcove to try and buy some time for some cooldowns. That's pretty good damage onto Sui, and the ghouls keep chasing, but even with the last rights, I think this is realistically going to be it. Just get a little bit more damage down with a red card than a gold card, and they do get the kill, though. A little bit spicier than I think Zuian was hoping for.
Hey, I mean, look, for a career-first TF game, Cream's having a pretty good time of it. Monkey lands the mark, and he decides he wants to go for a heavy play. It's just not working out this time. WE have still tried to play early skirmish, group early, make something happen. They don't have the gold this time. They don't have the numbers this time. Top Esports are answering fire with fire. They are very, very clearly saying, you can bring as many people as you want to the play. We'll bring the same amount and we'll outplay you.
Yeah, that was really done. And Monkey, again, trying to go forwards, trying to lead the charge, as he so often does for the team. It goes so wrong this time. TN with the flash to follow with that Cyclone to make sure that Monkey had no way to turn around and get some healing. And now the gold leads really are ballooning in pretty spectacular ways. It's 5,500 gold at 15 minutes. And it's not even the majority on TF.
Zuian back in that top lane. Has himself the cull cashed in, so he's almost 1,000 gold ahead of Cube, despite Cube's earlier solo kill onto him. Recall coming through from TN, who was just sat in that brush. Top Esports are a hair's breadth away from MSI.
There's still no Maiden up, so Cube is still at risk. TN's not left. He's still got the Herald-empowered recall. He's been cancelling out a few times. Fengyue is also just coming up, and they're going to look for this one there. The Dark Procession actually buys a bit of time. TN ends up trapped inside the cage. The Shot Blast after makes a little bit more spice to care, but that will give the opportunity actually for W, because they spent so long topside, to get a shot into mid. That will force a teleport out of TN.
Top Esports are probably going to MSI. They went to MSI in 2024. They missed out last year. Internationally, Top Esports have never stuck the landing. Never. They've made semifinals of Worlds twice. They have been to MSI and made it into the bracket stage, but then, of course, they were beaten by G2 in decisive fashion at MSI 2024. First stand, disaster for them. Of course, they ended up just about getting through into the bracket stage themselves after being saved, really, by the way that Team Liquid crashed and burned at that event too. Internationally, this team has so many demons. Domestically, they're not facing them today. Even in LPL finals, they've typically had those demons come to visit as well. Can they prove us wrong? I'll believe it when I see it, Sam. They're going to MSI most likely, but there will be so much weight behind them and on their shoulders as they take those steps towards Korea, towards an international event there. WE, the story at the start of the day was all about them, about their miracle run, beating BLG, anyone's legend, even sneaking through, of course, LNG before that. It's been an incredible run. Tian is going to get outnumbered on this red buff.
Oh boy, now he does manage to slide away. He's got a Mega Blast Cone and just about gets himself out to safety. The Destiny Kick was also propped there. Where are they going towards? Just that turret, I guess, to finish that one up. Cream throwing it down for the extra vision on what was going on, and does potentially leave him in a spot of bother here, but just not enough members.
You know, in any other situation, you think, oh yeah, you get him, but he has like upgraded swiftness boots and Lichbane movement speed. Like, how do you chase a TF like that? Poor Yorick walks up to him and just looks at him and goes, no, I'm not running the marathon for this. I'm not doing that. And he gets to walk away. Cream popped the ultimate for the vision. Tien realized, actually, I'm safe. Didn't have to call in the TF. Gets a top turret. Top Esports have been very reasonable about how they've approached the map. They've been very logical. Their macro has been superb in this playoffs. I mean, against anyone's legend, even when they started to lose some kills onto TM, their mid games were much better. And here against WE, the early games have been fantastic. They've had maybe one or two blips late game against WE as they find some clutch plays, but they haven't had the goal to turn them into wins. Top Esports, outside of that, have been superb.
They really have. At this point, I just don't know what on earth WE can do to come back into this game. They've got 20 seconds till soul point. They've got to play this from 7,000 gold down, and it shows in the items. Look at the AD carries. Look at the mid lane.
Well, a lot of that, of course, to hang on. Tien did good damage onto him. Monkey not doing bad there. Thank you for the follow again. If you are enjoying the entertainment, the storylines, you know, we know a lot about these players now. I've watched these players for years and years, and we've watched thousands of games here in the LPL. Good combo there from Karis. If you are enjoying that, please think about a like, follow, subscribe. Genuinely makes a difference to us. We keep saying it because it keeps making a difference. Dragon is alive now. Top Esports looking for Chemtech Soul Point, threatening that Soul later.
I think Jackie being so low might make this a bit tricky. They're going to try and herald into mid lane. TN is going to walk forward. Or Warrior Trickster away, not caught out there. Much better showing again from TN this time around. His last series was a little bit dicey, actually. I think he was on a weaker run of form. Has played exceptionally well here today. For me, he is the MVP of the series. They will blow up that herald, but the tier 1 still falls. Cube in the 1v1 for now, but the rest of Top Esports looking to roam and jump on top. In the morning mist slows down. Cube needs to keep running, but overcomes the TF, who is sprinting up here with the swiftness boots. Swian, I don't think he's going to get hit quite in time. The Dark Possession will ward off the Jace briefly. Flash away from TN, who went for the Warrior Trickster Nimbus Strike combo.
Yeah, really threatening there. Cullen pulled out in mid lane. Most of the shots are on target, but they're mostly into shields. A little bit of damage, but not that much else to it. There is an objective bounty and an arrow.
Okay, Rocket Belt back, looking for the weirding combo. Won't quite find it. Dragon was picked up by WE.
Karis getting some damage down, but he's struggling to make the impact. WE, the fact that there are objective bounties up at all is a problem. You very rarely see objective bounties in pro play. Most of the time, you don't get that far enough ahead. TN ulting, here comes the Cyclone.
Oh, Point's been left real low. That's not the best for him, TN. He does flash forward to secure an additional lockup. Does die. That's actually pretty significant. Full send and TN being dead. That's a big shutdown that went the way of About. Gets him into a gold lead for the first time this game. Monkey might still be run at here. Doesn't have the Crescent Guard, and Cream is pretty damn swift. Will not be able to get more.
Look, I mean, the top lane tower goes down in favor of Swian, who is incredibly fed on the Jace, but Dragon goes to WE and they get a kill, which was a shutdown onto TN. That's not bad. I mean, we were saying, you know, Top Esports, they've been the better team outside of 1 or 2 blips when W have made hero plays. Now TN goes in and it's kind of alone. Your arrow's just been used, the encore not really in a great angle. It does manage to pin some people down here, but it's not onto About. No one really gets to follow up though. TN goes way too deep looking for that.
Yeah, of course it costs a couple summoners. About down his flash and barrier. Of course TN also down his, which is significantly. Wukong has been the impetus for a lot of these engages, it must be said. And that is a pretty big deal. 3 grubs for WE as well means that if Cube ever does finally get a bit more opportunity to hit some towers, I think once that second item becomes complete, we'll get a bit more interesting again, but we're not there yet.
Is MSI happening at the same time as the Football World Cup? I believe so. MSI starts on my birthday, actually, June 28th. So
happy birthday to Alex.
I'm going to be 30. I'm old, chat. I'm old compared to some anyway. Less compared to others. Different time zones though, because MSI is in Korea. We played games normally, you know, afternoon into evening. World Cup is in North American time zones, you know, Western time zones. So it means that hopefully they won't overlap too much in terms of that.
WE clear up a few more of these camps. A lot of wards in their own red side jungle, understandably, because the next port of call will be Baron. There's a way back in for WE. Then a Baron flip and picking up some of these turrets with the grubs. They've only got 1 turret. There's no turrets, in fact. There's a lot of standing gold to recover here. If only they were to be given the opportunity.
Top Esports are playing like an LCK team. They are one of the teams which can play a more measured macro. Smite won by Monkey there. Damn, that's a rarity to say. Clone knocked up and Monkey goes too deep.
He's all right. Okay, just about gets wide. But if he's going to have to reset, maybe there's a Baron start here.
He loses almost all of his HP, and there's a fire cannon on Cream. You know, you give yourself up a bit of vision, fire cannon card comes through. Cream, yeah, a lot of that gold is from his passive, but enough of it is not. So he's really just doing it the old-fashioned way, just printing out money, getting so much gold. Rod of Ages just ticks over to 10 stacks, level 15. He is a fed Twisted Fate.
Here we go. Again, we did have that reset going down. Cube's not here, has no teleport on the reset. Going to be 15 seconds or so off. Gold card lands onto Monkey. Not necessarily the easiest target, but hey, 20%. More like 50% after the shot blast lands, and things get a bit spicy. Jump on a Cream, good damage. The gold card comes on down. The Between Worlds. Arrow follows. Turnaround comes in. About slides away, and everyone backs off for now. The encore catches Cube, but there's the breath of life. Cube still CC'd after, though. Tien resend into the backline, jumping onto Monkey. Cream gates behind him. There's nowhere for Monkey to go. He's corralled, and the Monkey King kills his namesake.
World Elite felled again, as perhaps an MSI Elite will be formed on the other side. We shall wait and wonder. Top Esports have swept through the grand majority of this series. 10,000 gold ahead. They're starting the Baron while taking towers. Tien has had a magnificent series. He is my player of the series from Top Esports. A wonderful series of games. from the 2019 Finals MVP at Worlds. Now, Top Esports have a lot of demons to defeat if they go internationally again, which we assume they will from this point in the game. WE, if they have to go through the lower bracket, I'm not going to favor them, Sam. I'm not going to favor them despite all the work that they've done. Looking into this replay, the problem is they have a cleanse in the Mikhails and the ultimate, but it's still not enough. They use one, they use the other, and it just isn't enough. There's too much damage done. The follow-up is just too strong.
Like, they disengage 4 times. It just doesn't matter. And they don't have the damage to turn it all back around. Cream with a wonderful Destiny Gate, and the flash forward from Jackie Love, lethal at the back end of the play. Back to live we go. We've got Dragon in 15 seconds. Wouldn't be sold, worth pointing out to WE. Might feel empowered to just give this one up. Tien, at this point, is so damn scary, and Cream's even going to pick up a Medjai's by the by.
If he gets that over 10 stacks, the movement speed is too much. It is far too much. I mean, you get the nasty damage there. 6% move speed from Lichbane, 10% from Medjai's. You get the Swift Marches upgrading, well, giving you damage based on your move speed as well, gives you adapted force, and then just a boatload of move speed too. It's too much. Chemtech Dragon will be taken by Top Esports. That'll be their third. They'll be threatening the Soul later on if the game stretches to that point. With a 12,000 gold lead, I don't think that will be the case. I don't either. Likely be ended before that, especially with 2 minutes left of the Baron. Top Esports have ample time to use the gold they currently have to break down the doors and break their way into MSI.
Yeah, they are debating shoving a little bit harder here with the Baron, and not really much of a debate, I think, at this point. They've got everyone here, really, with the exception of the Jace, who will be split pushing as that mid lane member. A little bit safer, of course, with that Ghost Blade and the form changes. Just takes the turret down in very short order, though. The hypercharge of this late on is pretty disgusting towards turrets. Cube walks up, he's got to clear up that way. The about Culling comes down, does chunk up Jackie. That's not bad, but again, the arrow comes down onto Monkey. The Breath of Life is forced, and that's more chunks coming as the volleys are beginning to become really problematic. In goes Karras with the Rocket Belt weirding combo. Old card also down. They just about hold on to this bot lane tier 3 for a second, but the healing from the Seraphine is beginning to mean that this poke just isn't really sticking.
Yeah, and the damage from the TF is genuinely a threat. Most of the time he's a CC bot. He's actually chunking a third of the HP. Karras coming out of base again. Not bad damage onto Wukong. That is important, but the inhibitors already falling. The Shot Blast takes almost half the HP off of Karras as well. It feels like the foundations of WE are creaking, they're cracking, and the house is going to come down all around it, Sam. WE needed to make it today, I think, Sam. I think if they lose this series, going up against a team that they've already faced and is looking to make a comeback victory against them from the lower bracket, I think that's too much. I think WE, if they lose here, is looking all too likely. I fear for them so much. Top Esports have clearly been the better team today. WE, what are they going to do?
It was so close they could taste it. One series off, and they might still get over there. It's not done yet, but it feels all but impossible. It would take some critical errors from Top Esports back to back to back. It would take probably a couple Barons and a...
Yeah, that's the thing. It wouldn't even just take one. It would take two at this point. 12k lead against the Dragon lead as well. Now, if you had Dragons yourself, you could fight for a Soul, maybe an Elder. At that point, you can think about, well, something crazy happening, but so hard with all of this in tow. It's okay damage onto Cream, but not what you'd expect from a late game Lucian. That's the problem. Their damage throughout all of this series has just been not fairly even.
Arrow comes on down, Monkey gets the cleanse, the Culling comes on down, and again it's decent damage, but there's just no additional follow-up, and sure, the damage to the Lucian isn't that spicy. It is from the Jace, it is from the Ashe. Hell, as we've been saying, it is from the Twisted Fate. One final inhibitor turret remains for Top Esports to claim. They are doing this by the numbers. They want to offer no opportunity for WE to consider a comeback as Karras is left blinking low health bar.
Yeah, they have defender's advantage. They can go back and regen, but the towers can't do the same. Another one falls. The base is in
Shot Blast as Monkey gets dropped to about half WE. Desperate, what have you got to play with? Your hand is all but empty. Top Esports are holding a dead man's hand. And it might well be WE's. The Nexus turret's under siege.
WE, this may be the last hurrah. Karras goes between worlds, but he's not going to find much.
The Dark Procession, the Crescent Guard, they're throwing everything at them, but unfortunately for them, Top Esports grind and throw an encore that extends through everyone. A flash on it for a Cyclone, and the inclement weather spins them all around. They do kill off one onto the fountain. They go, but the Nexus is bare. The plane flights are booked. First class for Top Esports. They're going to Korea. They're going international once more. They want redemption.
Perhaps fans around the world watch on in curiosity, perhaps a little bit of anticipation for Top Esports. They will go with demons to defeat, but they will have the chance to beat them. WE on the other side will go to the lower bracket to face off against the winner of BLG versus anyone's legend. Now, as an LPL fan, I have my worries about Top Esports. That cannot go understated. They have to prove themselves. Even though they've been international so many times before, it is not as simple as that. We thank you so much for following us again and watching our journey through this series. If you have enjoyed what you've been listening to, whether it has been on Onivia, where we restream to, or on our own stream here on Twitch and YouTube at Nymaera, we appreciate you joining us and spending a bit of your time watching the LPL and keeping this region alive. It is a wonderful region. I think it's the most entertaining region in the world. And if you've enjoyed what you've listened to today, please think about following our coverage of it. There's no official English broadcast anymore, so we try and do our best with the thousands of games of experience and familiarity with these players, the teams, the region, and the current moment as well here in Chinese League of Legends. We appreciate you, each and every one of you. We wouldn't do this without you as our community, and we hope that you'll join us again. Tomorrow we have BLG Anyone's Legend to determine who will fight for the last MSI spot. Both those two teams are 2 rungs away. MSI, but WE is 1 rung away.
That's crazy.
They couldn't get it today. 0-3. Thank you so much.
Heyo, Trevor.
Quick shot. How's it going? Dine and Dash. No worries. Appreciate you. Now, Quick Shot, we're having some chats over that. We might have a bit of a collab stream tomorrow. If Quick Shot is up for that as well, it'll be an incredibly fun series there. We appreciate the raid over there. Of course, I'm not actually sure what we're going to do. We're probably going to end and raid quite as soon as well. We're actually heading off to the LEC finals. We're going to go enjoy that from the studio. Top Esports at MSI, we've done the whole spiel. We have done the whole spiel about that. We've done the whole spiel. Now, realistically, a lot of people internationally are happy that Top Esports are making it because they have lost to they've lost to international teams before. Now, of course, G2 got blasted by Top Esports at Worlds. It's not as simple as that, but Top Esports have been seen to be the beatable LPL team internationally because they do fall apart in so many different international events. It's a difficult thing to bridge because I'm happy for Top Esports because I'm glad to see their domestic form continue at this level. I want to see the best possible League of Legends, and they were the best team today. I am worried for them because they have never proved me wrong on international performance, Sam. Never.
That will be a problem. Again, the Fell For It award. Somewhere out there, Orcs is waking up and screaming. Once more, Top Esports have made it international. And the thing is, however good they look domestically, there is always going to be that issue. Guys, if you...
Sorry, go
on. Guys, if you haven't done so already, please do make sure to follow Quickshot, of course, who has begun to stream LPL as well. And again, great fellow commentator and long-time enjoyer of League of Legends. I think a lot of people will know exactly who that is, so please do make sure to go do that. If you've not signed up for Opera GX yet, please do so. And if you have not hit the subscribe button, please do so as well. We are pushing towards things like Park Plus, which would be lovely if you have not considered the subscription. Also, guys, if you're coming over from Quickshot's channel, please do hit that follow button where you get the opportunity to, because we also do lots of LPL action.
Oh, sorry, that's for a number of there.
Yes, and indeed, that is the full graphic for Top Esports at MSI. G2, then they make it to international one more time.
Insane. Now, there's a comment I actually wanted to address in chat. Sam was in the middle of the spiel, so apologies for interrupting that. Because Vitek saying, happy for their rookies. What you mean is rookie. Swian is not technically a rookie. He debuted in 2024. This is something which I've talked to LPL English about because I noticed them getting this wrong at the start of the split, and some other co-streamers who I don't think I was familiar with him. Swian played for Invictus Gaming in 2024 summer, and the reason people consider him a rookie now is because he sucked and only played 6 best-of-3s, but he did debut. I think it is an important note to say he didn't debut this split, he didn't debut this year, he debuted back in 24 summer and had to work his way to this. I think it is a much more powerful story talking about him as the player that got slapped down and has redeemed himself. He is one of the best top laners in the LPL now, but that started in 2024 for me, and of course he was there in LDL before that too. But his LPL journey is not just 2026. There is an important prologue back in 2024, which really adds a ton of extra character to him, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. That would be huge. Well, there is a look at all of the stats there. Top Esports with a very convincing series. I think WE, part of it is I think Monkey and Karis had a poor showing today. Like outside of, like the Trundle made some good plays, but I think outside of that, Monkey was over-forcing. It felt a bit desperate. There were some mechanical misplays, and Top Esports was so ready for them on top of that. And also, we know Karis is a streaky player. This was the other side of the streak. There weren't the outplays. We didn't see the Akali angles. There were moments on the Aurora. It felt like there was some good damage, but it was down a lot of CS. The early WE gold leads, which they were able to get against the best teams in the LPL, they found nowhere today.
So Top Esports sweep through the series. It wasn't close. It wasn't close. I think the biggest takeaway from me is that WE were respected. They went for the early plays, for the early outnumbered fights, and they were met in kind and lost. WE, I think they've sucker punched a lot of teams. Their identity has basically been group as early as possible, with as many people as possible, as many times as possible, and just fist fight your way through the game with Monkey getting ahead. That didn't work here today. It didn't work here today. Top Esports were better in lane, better in jungle, and better at answering on the map. W didn't get free, uneven fights in the way that BLG and AL kind of sleptwalked into them. I think, BLG sometimes have had this issue with them where they just kind of think they'll just get given 1v1s. No, you're not going to have that all the time. And now we have a situation where we'll have only one of WE, BLG, or anyone's legend making it to MSI. It is one of those last three teams remaining. Top Esports cinched the first spot. Now, reminder that the prize for winning first stand for LPL isn't an extra MSI spot, but it means you skip play-ins. You go straight through to the main tournament, so both LPL seeds, regardless of where they finish, will go straight into the main stage of MSI, rather than having to play through the through the play-ins with the second seeds of each other region.
See exactly how Top Esports do. Is it time to restart the lactose tolerance club chat again? We'll see whether Cream can continue the run of form, because I think he has become a much more well-rounded player. He feels like he's in good sport, but again, we've just seen some of the anti-clutch at the very, very top end. How many times have we seen Top Esports get to the finals of LPL and then fumble? TN's had that long history of just getting second and not first, turn up to numerous international events and just not made it work. We'll see how they can do. Again, they will, at the very least, still get the opportunity to redeem themselves again. I think, as we noted, Worlds in 2025 was a much better showing from them. It wasn't perfect, but they didn't necessarily embarrass themselves. Would you look at First Stand, which is the one that people really remember? It was horrific for all of their end position. They didn't end up going out in groups or whatever, but they really, really barely scraped in, despite having players like Kanavi, who looked like one of the best players in the world. We ran into this issue where Top Esports at the time were so indexed into smashing early game and using that to allow Kanavi to run rampant in the jungle. When they got held to account early on, they had no idea what to do. I think this version of Top Esports feels a lot more considered, and theoretically, and is this me falling for it again awards, feels like they should be, on paper, a little bit more prepared and seasoned to go internationally.
The problem is there are just so many players which have just the mental holdback. Now, I will say, I actually think that Fungyue is a very mentally resilient support. He is the rookie on the team, but he's looked very, very important to them emotionally. The problem is, as much as I think that he can be a very good player, I think he's one of the best supports in the region right now, he'll be a first-time international participant. That is rough. Same with Swian as well, who's, had his rise to glory in this year, despite, having that debut back in 2024. It's his first international as well. It's not easy taking new players internationally, especially when Tien, Jackie11, and Cream have all had some pretty major crash and burn events internationally. I'm worried that if the rookies start struggling, the veterans have their own demons to overcome and they won't be able to support each other as a team in the same way. I guess we can get into player of the match, player of the series, I suppose. There'll be a interview as well. We'll listen to the interview and then we'll start thinking about heading on our way to other things. Thanks for joining us, and we'll wait, and we'll see you tomorrow, of course.
赢下了本场比赛的胜利，在我们的赛后采访邀请到的是中野组合，二位好，先跟大家打个招呼吧。
大家好，我是 Top 中南 Cream。大家好，我是 Top 的打野天。
好的，欢迎回 天。那首先我要让现场的观众们大声的告诉我，提前一步踏入决赛的是谁？首先拿到 MSI 资格的是谁？好的，再次恭喜滔博战队啊！你们今天不仅仅是成功挺入了我们的第2赛段决赛，同时也是拿到了今年 MSI 的第1张门票。此刻想要问问2位最想分享的感受和心情是什么？对我们的镜头说一下。
挺开心的吧。还有就是今天在这拿到胜利嘛，就希望大家都能顺顺利利以后日子。
好的，这份祝福也带给大家。那小天呢？
我感觉路还没有走完吧，我们后面还有决赛和 MSI， 然后今天赢下来确实蛮开心。
好的，我们路还没有走完，我们的一小步是先博至武汉，下一步再到更高的地方、更远的地方，我们也非常对你们有所期待。那今天呢，你们面对的是 W1这支异军突起的黑马队伍，你们直接3比0轻松获得了胜利。赛前在采访当中呢，哥哥也有说到嘛，说你们提前也是做了很多针对性的准备。那想想。问一下2位，你们觉得今天做的最好的点是什么？从小奶油的角度看，你觉得是什么呢？
我角度来看，就是我们对对面野区限制的比较好，然后我们打野也玩的挺好的。
啊，打野就在身边，那打野你对此有什么说法呢？
感觉梦奇变奏一般都是针对线上，所以其实我野区压力没有很大，感觉今天线上的人防的比较好，然后就比较顺利。
线上的人防的好，你觉得哪一位是你觉得线上防守做的最要拿出来单拎出来夸一夸的？
那肯定都很棒。
大家都非常的不错，对不对？确实。那下一个问题要问一下啊，第1小局的时候就看到了小天直接自信的把盲僧选出来挑大梁，非常的自信。那在 BO5的第1局做出这样选择的那一刻，你心里在想什么？
这个赛季玩盲僧一直玩的挺抽象的，感觉特别。这感觉真的很丢人啊！然后今天上台，在做动作的那个地方，有个粉丝跟我说，今天还玩盲僧了，田哥，然后我给他点了个赞，我不知道他知不知道。然后今天确实盲僧感觉抽到保底了吧，保底吧，然后感觉玩得挺好的。
今天确实，盲僧带起了所有的节奏，所有的野区的节奏也好，线上也好 ，gank 也好，龙的节奏都被你稳稳的掌控了。那我们要问一下啊，当时选出来盲僧这个情况的时候，奶油你们在旁边语音大家是怎么样交流沟通的呢？
这个就把选择权交给他自己嘛，他觉得阵容挺好的。
这就是队友之间的相信啊，确实也玩得非常的不错。那想问问Cream， 你如何点评小天今天的盲僧呢？有没有什么给你留下特别深刻印象的瞬间？
就满分吧，就中路那波一脚踹3个挺帅的。
哎，正好提到了这个中路一波一脚踹3个，想问问当时情况，小天能不能给我们还原一下？
这个游戏就很多时候就看感觉吧，感觉当时感觉来了，然后也没有说太多。然后操作就比较顺利吧，没那么呆了。
龙虾上身了啊，这种感觉。那第2局啊，可以看到从中路前期的时候，你们就抓到了对面失误的那个点，拿下了奥拉夫的人头。从这个时刻开始，你们就把雪球慢慢的滚起来，节奏拿到了自己的手中。那想问问小奶油，奥拉夫冲过来的那一刻，你心里的第一想法、第一反应是什么？
感觉他可能对他的伤害计算的不是很准嘛，我感觉我怎么都死不了。
好，这还是很自信的，对吧？好的，那今天呢也是你2000击杀的一个里程碑的解锁。那你觉得这个对于你的职业生涯来说意味着什么呢？
时间过得挺快的吧，时间过得挺快，就感觉。
时间过得挺快的，那你想要问问啊，从你出道以来到现在这么长一段时间里面，你认为最能代表你成长的一个时期是哪一段时期呢？
就刚加入滔博那会儿吧，就那会儿。就很多游戏理念都跟现在差很多。
那想问问啊，刚加入滔博那会儿，是有什么样的场景让你在之前的我们的一个播客里面有跟大家说出联盟使人变成恶魔？
那是感觉就最近的排位打得太那个了，有点。
但是今天的发挥都非常的不错，对吧？那也问问我们的小天啊，今天你觉得 Cream 的发挥怎么样？原来是现场啊，现场还 Q 到了大黄啊。
今天林间玩的对线打得特别好吧，团战也发挥特别出色，非常稳健，感觉今天可以 大家基本上都可以打满分了。
好的，那么下一个问题问问奶油，因为今天不仅仅是你2000击杀的一个职业里程碑的解锁嘛，同时也是你和阿水你们俩水奶组合的200场啊，那有什么要对哥哥说的话吗？一路并肩走来这么久的时间，
就他挺劳累的吧，就让他辛苦了吧就。
辛苦了 ，OK， 我觉得今天所有你们过往的努力都对得起今天拿的这个胜利。那最后一个问题，因为时隔700多天，今天也是再次拿到了 MSI 的一个参赛资格，和你们一起进入到我们国际赛事的，同样还有队里面的2位新人，那他们也是第一次参与到我们的国际赛事当中来，有什么作为前辈的话，想要在这里跟他们俩说的吗？首先从奶油开始吧。
就希望他俩就能放平心态玩吧，就不要有太大的压力。
小天呢？
我也希望他们能够，就是摆平心态吧。一般第一次打国际大赛，应该会发挥的比较正常。
好的，也希望2位下去可以在日常生活当中啊，或者是平常训练赛的时候，也可以多多的对我们2位新人做一下指导。也感谢我们的中业组合2位来到我们的赛后采访。那我们的赛后采访到这里就告一段落，接下来时间交回到我们的解说席。
Okay, well, I hope you Mandarin speakers enjoyed that interview with the dominant top esports players coming off of that victory. We're going to go radio over to someone now. Sam and I are actually going to be at the LEC studio later. We're just going to be there as fans. We've got some tickets from G2 who are very happy, very kind to gift us some over to that. So we're going to be over there. I might be wearing a BLG jersey. So, you know, we just got to check out who's going to be losing to us at MSI. Just... Now, these common things we do. But yeah, appreciate everyone for sticking by again. If you have enjoyed today, as again, we keep hammering home. We got to shield for ourselves, folks. This is our job. If you'd like to drop a like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends about it, clip things out, post it on Twitter and Reddit. It does make a huge difference to us because it's how we pay our rent and it's how we keep the LPL as a region alive. Appreciate everyone here. We're going to radio over to someone. We'll go find someone to do that. I know that the quick shot... viewers, you've literally just been raided over. We will just be, you know,
if you could please hit the follow anyway.
Kitty is doing LCP, so we're gonna go right over to Kitty. So appreciate everyone there. So I mean, you all know and love her anyway. I guess we're about to get player of the series, player of the match. Cream gets player of the game. I should have left it 1 minute. Okay, I'm gonna hold off on the raid then for like half a minute, and we'll get ourselves into player of the series. We'll be able to get that one just before we head off. Hope you enjoyed everything today, and we'll see you tomorrow. Got to figure out details, whether, you know, Quickshot hopefully wants to do a collab stream with us. We shall see whether that is a cast or whether it is hanging out or whether it is a tri-cast or a duo cast. If it is a cast, just got to sort out some details there. You know how it is. I'm not sure. I haven't really been able to catch many. I don't really actually get to catch many other people doing their own kind of streams as much, really, because we do so much LPL. But yeah, we'll figure things out, and we'll enjoy it. It's the big thing. We'll enjoy it. We'll tell some stories along the way. We'll educate about the players and the teams. Player of the match should be coming up just after this too. Cream gets player of the match. It was an exceptional series from him. He was great in every game. My player of the match was Tien.
I agree.
But I think that Cream was excellent too. There isn't a wrong option there.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We're literally about to raid over. Thank you so much for joining us, from Sam and from myself, and from everyone else that streams LPL as well. We hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.
GG, goodbye YouTube viewers, goodbye Twitch.